me and Ryan have been officially welcomed to the jungle that is Barstool Sports.
Our white whale, Sidney Crosby.
Shave his head! Shave his head! Shave his head!
Ryan Whitney, Paul Bissonette, R.A., Mike Grinelli, Spittin Chiclets.
What is up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to episode 581 of the Spittin Chiclets podcast, presented by Pink Witty. If you're watching on YouTube, look at Keith Yandel and look at Matt Murley. And he's got some drank out of that one, Matt Murley. I love it. Or is it some drunk out of there? Either way, you guys both have a bottle, and I had a lot of messages sent to me of people at the NFL tailgates with some Pink Whitney on ice. You know, you got the 4:30 game, 4:25 start. You get there at 10 a.m. Those are a couple of the Pink Whitney, and you know you're feeling good walking into that stadium. So shout out to everyone who enjoyed Pink Whitney over the weekend. I hope we see some more pictures. Maybe send them over my way of next NFL Sunday. Also, Saturday college football, guys. You're crushing Pink Whitney at the the fraternities, maybe if they're 21, and then the tailgates. And you guys know what I'm saying. So everyone, thanks for your amazing accomplishment in buying Pink Whitney. Is it an accomplishment? Yes, it is. Because you went out and you bought some. So we appreciate it. Matt Murley, God, I miss you, buddy. Joining the show in absence of Paul, Biz Nasty Bissonette. We got Keith Yandel here as well. Biz is, I think this is the first day of filming Peakin. He's saying, is it season 2? Was season 1 the one episode they did? I don't know.
That was the pilot.
He's a professional movie maker here. He's got a pilot, and now this is season 1.
Yeah, and don't forget Biz Does BC, the beginning of all of this madness when him and Pasha bombed around guerrilla style, filming all over British Columbia. He's now hiking there. So good luck to them. I saw Donny mention on his way to the airport he's in the worst shape of his life. That's not great. I don't think the weather looks great there either, but those guys, they'll grind through it. Biz though too, he could be walking and all of a sudden be like, hold on, stop. I need to do my 3 minutes of breathing and just like cause them to go even longer. So good luck to those guys. Merles, talk to us. How's the house coming? How's the move looking? Like, give me your mental state right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can't be happier to get back there. It's house still is not done, but we have booked our flights. We'll be coming over October 7th as a family. So first I'm coming over solo, as you know, for Chiclets Cup. So we'll hit that real quick, fly home. I'll be home maybe 5-6 days, pack up the family, and then we head to New York. So no more of these late night recordings from over here for me. And then biggest thing of all is why I got the shirt on, probably why I'm on here today, is my Buffalo Bills. Last night, I fell asleep at halftime, so I had to wake up and watch that amazing comeback in the morning, which was just as good. But
did you check anything?
I'll be back and be done. What's up?
Did you check any scores when you woke up, or no? Cold turkey right into the game.
No, right off, go cold turkey. I walked the kids to school, no phone, left the phone up in the bedroom, walked back. What's the movie? Is it something about Mary Warren or whatever? He's got like the ear things on.
Yeah, don't touch his earmuffs.
Hey, you see my baseball?
Yeah, so nobody talked to me, and I walk over, drop them off, walk back in front of the TV, and those are the games the Bills used to lose. They would always find a different way to lose those games, but now we're winning those games. This is the year.
Is there no worries? Like, if I was here and people knew I was a Buffalo Bills fan taking my kids to school, like, is there no worry for you where someone's like, hey, big W last night?
Yeah, no, not here. I had to get people in the afternoon. I saw guys around here. I'm like, hey, did you watch the Bills game? And they're like, what are you talking about? When we showing I've had the shirt on since the game. And I don't know if I'll take it off all year. And they're like, what are you talking about? So, no, nobody else is following it over here. I'm on my own, and it makes it easy. The only one I have to worry about is my wife. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, don't tell me the scores. Don't tell me the scores. I'm a crazy person.
That was my style for the Super Bowl in Russia, the Malcolm Butler interception at the goal line, where I went to the rink and went to practice, and I knew I didn't have to worry. But once I told Emerton and a couple other imports, I was like, hey, don't say anything. The Russian guys, you kidding me? They didn't even know that happened the night before. So, and I went back and watched it. I'll never forget. You've been the master of that. I mean, since you went over to Europe, you've been doing that 20 years. So you're used to it. But the game, I actually went to sleep. I think, were they down 16? Was it 40-25?
15
Yeah.
points. The guy missed the extra point
Yes.
there to make it 16.
And I was like, all right, I was exhausted. And I woke up and just checked the phone right away. I was like, are you shitting me? And Keith, have you seen, hop on here quick. What is the kid's name from Barstool? That video is all time.
His name is Cody Miles. He's actually the Mostly Sports producer.
All right, congrats to the Baltimore Ravens, regular season champs. Y'all played your asses off. My Uber's here, calling it early, fourth quarter. Got to give Zay Flowers his flowers. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry ran it down our dicks. We look abysmal. The secondary sucks. I would love to see Josh Allen throw the ball downfield one time. Check down King. James Cook just got a bag. What did he do? Not a f***ing thing. Tight ends look like shit. Secondary's dog piss, trash, piss poor. We'll get him next week, right? We don't play the Jets anyways, so who cares? We'll probably win. This team stinks. Good night.
That's the worst. That's the worst fan I've ever seen.
Yep.
Like, forget leaving early. Like, or forget dogging them, I'll say. Like, every fan ripping on your team as you think the game's over. Like, he also left early. If you're gonna leave early, walk out. You can mutter some things to yourself, but to make a video, now granted his job is social media and mostly sports, to make that video and leave that early, I mean, just a horrendous look for that guy. Horrendous.
I think I saw online today, Big Cat sent the video to Josh Allen. So, like, can you imagine that feeling? I would feel so ashamed if my favorite player saw me acting like that.
You got to change teams. You got to have a new team now. Hey, that happened to me at the Super Bowl. Me and Sean Thornton went to the Super Bowl when we saw you against Atlanta when they were down
28-3.
What was 28-3?
You were at that game?
Yeah. And Thornty says to me at halftime, he goes, "Hey, you want to get out of here?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Absolutely not." And then we were celebrating after, not to name drop here, but like we ran into Donny Wahlberg and he was like, "Dude, Mark Wahlberg, my brother left at halftime and they wouldn't let him back in." I was like, "Thorty, could you imagine we left this?" But yeah, you gotta stick it out.
You didn't know I ran into Yans at the Patriots after party and I big timed him. It was terrible.
Yeah, he big wheeled me.
Yeah,
it
so
I think it big time it. I don't get that.
It was awful.
Although
So
I've big timed before, so I guess I shouldn't say that.
I saw Sean Thornton and I kind of just went black. I just, Thorty, Patriot.
Or you went black and gold. You
Yeah,
went
black
and
and gold. And it was my birthday, so I beelined it over to him. I'm like, oh my God, can we take a picture? I'm Ryan Whitney's friend. I know Ryan Whitney. Throwing your name around there left and right. And Keith's just like, "Oh, you're Ryan Whitney's friend, huh?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm Ryan Whitney's friend. And I'm like, "Here, can you take the picture for us?" And I asked him to take the picture. I'm pretty sure he took a selfie too.
Getting asked to take a picture.
The entire game, me and Thorty were walking around, and there's obviously a lot of Bruins fans that are Patriots fan. I must have got asked to take, and I'm not kidding, you could ask Thorty, probably 150 pictures, and there's 150 selfies of just me. I didn't take one picture of Thorty and someone who asked. Not one.
You're like, listen, you want to talk about games played? You want to talk about the Iron Man? And I'm your photographer? That is, I knew you ran into him. I didn't know that happened.
I think we had Yans on the podcast at this point too. So it's like it's insanity to me that I just didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, it's all right.
Merles, though, you're saying that like I've been open that I'm a Patriots fan, but if the Patriots, and God, you could talk about them for a minute. If they're what I think they are, or what they have been the past few years, I want the Bills. Like I would every year. I want to see the Bills win. Maybe this is now one game, right? And they kind of got dominated, but that's a win. Like you're saying, they never get that win.
No, that they find a way to lose those games, and yeah, it doesn't look good. Like I still don't know how they stopped Henry last year in the playoffs. I think they stopped going to him at one point, which they kind of stopped going to him in this game, and they're going to be tough to beat. They're the scariest team out there. Of course, they still can't figure out how to beat Mahomes, but we'll figure that out later. Got to get the home field. If they get the 1 seed, it will change everything. It's the last year in that stadium, the Ralph Wilson, I always will call it. I don't even know what it's called now, Highmark Stadium, I think. They got the new stadium next year, so this is the year. Get the 1 seed, have all the home playoff games, send everybody out. I'll put in my notice now that I will not be working the February 8th weekend. I will be at the Super Bowl. And then when we win, I'll be taking a plane directly to the city of Buffalo for the parade. And I'll be off the grid for a good week there, boys.
I mean, yeah, that I would love to see it happen. I texted you in the middle of the game. I don't know if they're gonna win with that coach. He just and I don't know a ton about football. He just doesn't strike me as like this is gonna be the Super Bowl winning coach. But Allen is just that guy. That guy.
Oh,
he
how
seems like
easy
the
is he to
man
root for?
too. Everything about that guy is awesome.
He kind of reminds me of TJ Oshie, like that type of guy. Just like,
Yeah.
by the way, how funny is the picture of Osh?
Oh my God!
As a football
I'm gonna show
player.
you guys. I'm gonna show, and then G, you could put in the better image. So Oshie texted me and Biz, and he said, "I told you guys how small I was. I found a picture. All these kids are." This is actually. It looks fake. It looks like
Yeah.
All the kids in this picture are my age.
Oh my God.
Oh, no way.
Get out of here.
It looks like Penn State versus a Pee Wee team.
Canton High.
That-
Yeah,
That's the opposite of like the Derrick Henry pictures you see.
Exactly.
right. Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
that is like just once again for everyone.
It's unbelievable.
So yeah, I do like that comparison. Just kind of all American guys.
Yeah,
J.O.C.
dogs.
And I was fired up to have the NFL back though. It was nice. 1:00. The Patriots, Keith. They may stink.
Yeah.
I was excited, and then I was like, oh my God. Now, I don't know if Oakland's very good. I don't think they're very good. Like what? Like a 500 team maybe.
If they're
And-
lucky.
By Oakland, you mean Vegas.
Very true. I see Raiders.
Ball knower.
I see Raiders. I'm not a ball knower. I see Raiders. I think John Gruden. I think
Yep.
in Oakland. Like I don't know. Maybe that's a little crazy. I think people probably think John Madden, but I
Al
think
Davis.
John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders. Are you guys in a Survivor?
Yep.
No, I didn't get in one this year.
Yeah. So I took Arizona, which was like I was like I don't know
Okay.
about this on the road. It was just it wasn't that like
That was a sweat box.
Yeah,
of a
They
game,
got a
no?
sweat at the end.
yeah. They got New Orleans got the ball. I'm like reading before New Orleans could be one of the worst football teams to ever play in the NFL, and all of a sudden I'm like, I might lose this thing. But just having all the games going, I loved it. I absolutely
best.
loved it. I was finally like back in the groove of like fall, I guess I should say. Sundays.
It's just so nice sitting around. Like we went out Saturday night, our group of friends, and then Sunday we do Sunday football just to like sit around in sweats, eat like a Viking all day, sit there and have absolutely no worries at all, just to sit on the couch and watch football. It's a beautiful thing.
And the late game though, it's just a little late. Like
It's a little late.
Don't think I'm gonna make it for any of those games till the end. But Merles, I had a couple other questions. So kids will go right into school. Lily's kindergarten or not yet?
Yeah, she'll be kindergarten. So we'll get her in there about a month late. We talked to a bunch of people. They said it's not a huge deal. We've been
Okay.
doing some extra work here. I got some like American preschool and kindergarten homework we do with the letters and the numbers, counting by twos and all that crazy stuff that you guys have already been through.
Yeah.
She's
So-
got to learn inches and stuff now. No more.
Oh shit, yeah. Pounds.
Yeah, I don't know if she's gotten that far yet. Maybe we're a little behind over here. I don't know if she knows inches and centimeters and meters and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
She'll be fine.
How long till we're there, Daddy? How long? And
How long?
Are the
How
kids
long?
excited?
yeah, my daughter's real excited. Big girl school, and they don't have the big yellow school buses over here. Most people usually are walking to school, or you just go on the
Volvo.
city bus.
Yeah.
So she can't believe it because we tell her like she can take the school bus if she wants. So she is all fired up to do that.
Yeah, until she gets her lunch money stolen. Some hood rat kid from Albany.
Some kid from Troy takes her new lunchbox. Merles is hunting down the guy's dad. Speaking of hunting down for property, that video of the Karen taking the home run ball from the father and the son, kind of it's turned into just in classic internet fashion, the craziest story. I mean, everyone hates her, right? Like just an all-time Karen. Like this woman just looks like an absolute loser. And there's other words you can use. I won't use them, but just
Don't
like,
do it.
oh my God. And okay, then you got some people are coming out, well, the dad's a bitch. That dad, dude, the guy looked all scared
He
when
went
she
like this.
came over, and then he gives the ball back. Cuck, liberal bitch. So all of a sudden now, like, the internet's attacking both of them, her way more so. Then it turns in though where I'm like, oh my God, this clip, like this lady, the clip's the worst thing to happen to her, right? Like just this viral moment where everyone can't stand you. But then it turns into like, all right, let's get her name. Let's get where she works. And it's like, fuck, like, you know, loser move. But like, are we really trying, like, are people trying to like end this woman's like career and life? And then the guy goes on TV. Did you see the guy go on the local news?
No. What city was this in again?
Philly, right? He went on NBC Philly, so they're Philadelphians. I don't know. Gee, where was the game? I thought it was on the road.
It happened in Miami. It was a Marlins game.
Okay, so it happens in Miami. So like the woman. Now let's get ahead of this. A home run ball goes in the stands. That thing is fair game till somebody's holding it in the
Till
palm
it's
of
in
their
your
hand.
pocket. Yep.
Till it's in your pocket. And I mean, my father, this was like, I was like in the NHL. So it wasn't like I was 10. And all of us were there. Me, Colin, Sean, and my dad. Dude, a foul ball, not a homer. A foul ball came whizzing by us, probably ended up about 3 seats down from him and down a level. We're probably 20 rows up from third base. He dove like Superman, and he ended up from our section on his belly on the ground of Fenway Park, pinning the ball against the wall on the step beneath. And, you know, everyone's grinding. And finally, like, he didn't move that hand or arm. And he came up, boom. Now, again, Big Dan Whitney, his kids were, I'm going to guess, 24, 22, and 18. He gave it to a little kid. Great move. But I'm telling the story because it's a fair ball, like free for all. The guy got the ball. Now that woman comes over. That was my ball. That's bullshit. She has no place for that. Then when she gets the ball from the guy, he decides to hand the ball over. I wouldn't have given that ball over. I would if you stabbed me and I was down bleeding. I'm still holding on to that ball. I'd like to think. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. But he hands the ball over. Then the pictures come out of her holding the ball. She's giving the double bird to people. I'm like, oh, this lady sucks. But I guess it turns into like the internet tries to really ruin your life. Yeah. It's not funny.
That was on the heels of the guy at the U.S. Open where he took the hat from the kid. Did you see that one?
The pro went to give him the hat.
Brutal.
And he came
that one was brutal.
That one was way worse because the guy was giving the kid the hat. That was a blatant,
Right.
This is your hat. This is a free.
But they went and found out who that guy was and started like just trying to destroy his company and everything else.
Yeah, he was like a CEO somewhere, and then somebody thought. But so the guy goes on the news. Now, gee, I don't know if we could throw that video in because I feel bad for this guy. I actually talked to my dad about it, and he's like, yeah, he gave her the ball. Like, she's a lunatic, which is pretty much what the dad says in the video. And then the kid ended up with a ton of swag. I think he got a bat. He got to meet some of the players. So it was more of a win for what the kid got. But the guy, you know, it doesn't look great. And the blog is perfectly written, whoever wrote it. It's like, if the local news is asking you to come on, just say no. You're never, and you know, he comes off, it's very awkward. It's a very awkward video, guys. He apologizes to his son for giving the ball back, and it's just awkward. The daughter's there all quiet. I don't know if we can run it, but man, a crazy scene, all from a home run ball and what the internet can do. We can't run the video, I'm being told.
His wife was filing for divorce as he was handing the ball over. She was so disgusted with him. She was legit disgusted with him. Go back and look at her face. She wants him done. I couldn't believe.
My thing is, don't you think the wife is a little bit at fault here? Because I was watching this video and I'm sitting there watching it with my fiance, and I said to her, I'm like, if a woman got in my face like that,
yeah, you got to help me out, honey.
You're sitting right next to me. You got to get in her face and be like, don't you fucking talk to my husband that way, because I can't do that, because then I'll look like an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
like
almost
that.
sitting there thinking, like, if this woman ends up slapping me, I can't hit her back. I'm really in, but now I would have taken, like, I would have been so happy to not give the ball back. Like, I would have been like, I'm like, now this is amazing. And at that point, it's on TV. They're gonna keep covering on the cameras, and I'd be like, "This is amazing. This is gonna be Chiclets conversation. This woman is not getting this ball back." But man, did he look tough when the woman came over and he kind of just like panic mode, like
he saw a ghost.
Like it was like Rempe's like coming in the corner, and you're like a rookie or a men's league player that got to play in an NHL game. You're just, oh shit.
I said it right after. If I could see two people in the world handle that situation, it'd be you and Oki would be my two number one people in the world to see how much different the reaction from you to that guy would. I would just imagine your big finger in her face, like, no, beat it, get out of here, gotta go.
I don't know. Yeah, that's why I feel bad for the guy. Like, she could have not left either. And then, you get the security coming in, which once again, incredible content. If you got security dragging her out of there by the feet and arms, and then you're waving goodbye with the ball in the palm of your hand, it's an all-time moment. And if I had that ball, if I'd run over, which I probably wouldn't have run over on my own, but if I wasn't with one of my kids, like, take the ball, you lunatic. Jesus Christ, Karen, take the ball. But yeah, once you give it to your son, that's my son's ball.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, a viral moment for the ages. I watched it 100 times. It's just, but then I saw the guy in the news and just, oh man, just an awkward scene.
Oh yeah.
We got 2 interviews this episode. So we got Tyson Nash. We've had him on before. Great guy, awesome storyteller. He's now doing a ton of work with the Utah Mammoth. He also has his own kind of, it's not a, what is it, like a altcast type thing. Similar to what Bergeron, Raycroft, and Tuukka Rask do with the Bruins. So we had him on, great discussion. And then we had, Biz and I interviewed Mardy Fish. So for people who don't know, former number 7th ranked tennis player in the world, started following Biz on Twitter or something. They connected, and he had a documentary come out 2021, 4 years ago, about his career in tennis and some kind of crazy things he went through. So that's another great interview. So we're going to bring you Tyson Nash. I think we throw it to him right now. We catch up with him. And when you see this guy's setting, he's at this Gonzo ranch, Merles. You've seen the pictures of this place? I mean,
yeah, I've heard enough about it. Yeah.
It's
he was in Kelowna. He was in Kelowna, wasn't he?
He was in Kelowna. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
was the lake.
Does he go to Gonzo?
He goes to both.
Yeah, he has both.
So I didn't even know where he was. Good call, Whit. Nice host. But I say we throw it over to him, and then we can discuss some hockey things after that. So without further ado, Tyson Nash.
We are pleased to introduce, he's already been on the pod one time before, but Jans, you were not on. Your former, well, I guess you didn't play with him, but he was with the Arizona Coyotes and a Kamloops Blazer legend. Played numerous years in the NHL, now working with the Utah Mammoth after graduating from the Arizona Coyotes. Our boy, Tyson Nash, part of the Nash cast. What's up, Nasher?
What's up, boys? Holy, we got a crew here. Jans, I did play with Jans. He was my old roommate. He slept on my couch in San Antonio when Gretz sent me down, ended my career. It was a sad day, but Jans took the old wily veteran in. So Jans, love it.
Yeah, great to be with. Yeah, you were nice enough to let me live on your couch. You had your whole family in Phoenix still. You were just, I wouldn't say the happiest camper to be in the minors, but you were definitely a treat to be around. And we did have some fun. We had some good times, and you let me stain your couch with some bacon strips, which is always nice.
What was the connection? Like, did you guys know each other beforehand?
From camp and in the summertime. That summer I had lived out there, so I'd worked out with you guys. It was like you, Donor, Mo. So you guys were all unbelievable, so good to me. And then, but I'll never forget Biz. That year you got sent down, I made the team out of camp or something, and we had a Halloween party, and all of a sudden this chick walks in, just as a Hooters girl, good looking, nice bum, had like a mask on, so you couldn't tell it was Nasher.
He does have some nice getaway sticks and turd cutter.
The legs were on fire. I think the only thing that gave it away was my tattoo on my side. But oh man, that was awful. I had the glass mask on. That was Mike Comley's house. I'll never forget it. But Oh my God, was I ever miserable? I was so miserable. Like imagine, right? Getting sent down by your childhood idol, Wayne Gretzky. I'm sitting at his mahogany desk in his office, and he gives me the news that it's over. And I'm going to San Antonio. I got 3 kids under the age of 5. I'm living in Silverleaf. I just built my dream house, living in Silverleaf. Yeah. Oh yeah. Then I end up in Man Antonio in San Antonio with Keith Yandel sleeping on my couch. I'm like, where has my career gone to? Right in the toilet.
That's the AHL version of Man Jose, if they call it Man Antonio.
Oh yeah. Oh geez. Yeah. 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 That's as far as I'll take that one. But
I played there. Yeah, truly brutal in that scenario. I'll be honest with you. I agree, Nasher.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone had a full set of teeth.
He didn't leave his room he'd leave his room to walk out of the apartment to go to dinner, and you'd either have to follow him and go with him, or you didn't see him for 3 hours. It was unreal.
And it was always the Italian spot. Remember that place?
Paisans or something.
And you were off with Patty Conacher, your best buddy, our head coach that year.
Remember he thought I slashed his tires?
Oh, you told me that story.
Yeah.
He tried to fight me. Remember that one? He tried to fight me in the locker room. I took a dumb penalty. I'll never forget it. And again, I'm miserable, right? I got 3 kids back at home, my wife. I am miserable. And I'm fighting. I'm doing whatever I can. I take a dumb penalty. It kind of cost the team the game. And he comes in and just rips me a new one. And I walk into his office and just give it to him. He's like, anytime, any place, let's go to the parking lot right now. And I slammed his door, and they had a little piece of glass in the door, and the glass just shattered. And it was on. Oh God.
How much longer did you last?
Gorgeous Gord didn't. Wait, remember that the coach's room was like basically attached to the locker room in San Antonio, and we're all in the locker room like, oh my God, he's gonna kill this coach during the game, and all you can hear is Gord Dineen. All right, Nasher, take it easy, Nasher.
I couldn't remember who the assistant coach was.
Gorgeous Gord.
Oh God, was that unbelievable? I think like 3 weeks later, I got traded to Toronto, and thank God. But
didn't you take your equipment off and you're like, all right, let's go to the parking lot now, and like took your equipment off and like walked up to the parking lot?
Oh yeah. And you know what? And in fairness to Pat, like he was in the same boat. He was my assistant coach in Phoenix. He was the best human being on the planet. All of a sudden he's a head coach. You guys know the scenario. And they become heroes, right? And he was miserable too because his wife wasn't living there, living away from home. He's in the minors at whatever age. So I kind of get where he was coming from. Now that I look back, right, later in my career, I was pretty hard on him too.
Nasha, you've always ran hot though. You got a quick wick, right? Which probably played to your advantage in the way that you played hockey. But
that's how I got this nose, Biss. Right?
Yeah,
I
same
always
here,
got
brother.
myself in trouble.
Yeah, I got the same issue for sure. We never won many fights, but man, were we willing to show up. That's why we had to challenge our coaches. So we could finally get a W. That is so good. What did you say back to Wayne after, like, when he sent you down? Were you like, Wayne, no, please let me stay?
Oh, like everything. My agent was blowing up his phone. Wayne was like, oh my God, we can't get rid of this guy quick enough. But I mean, it was so hard, right? What do you say? I mean, this guy, I had Wayne Gretzky wallpaper, Wayne Gretzky bed sheets growing up, and then I had a chance to play for him. In fact, when I got traded from the St. Louis Blues, it wasn't Shane Doan, it wasn't Michael Barnett, it wasn't Larry Plow, the GM of the Blues, that called me first to tell me that I got traded. It was 99. Wayne Gretzky's on the horn, and I actually hung up on him. I'm like, yeah, which one of my idiot buddies is this? And hung up the phone, and he calls me back. He's like, no, seriously, don't hang up, Nasher. It's Wayne. I'm so pumped to have you and be a part of the Phoenix Coyotes. That didn't last long, but I did have a couple seasons. But it was tough when your idol, your childhood idol, ends your career pretty much. But it was time. Now, again, when I look back, I'm like, it was time. And he got me into broadcasting. And he said he'd take care of me as long as I wanted to do it, as long as I worked hard, did my gig, did my job. And honestly, it was the best experience of my life. Broadcasting as Wayne Gretzky as the coach. And you can tell, right, that why he was such a great leader with the Edmonton Oilers, why he was the captain. I mean, he just does captain things, even as the coach. We would literally get to a city and a hotel, and it was mandatory for everyone but the players throw their bags in the room and come down for one orange juice, one drink, one wine, whatever. And you would just sit there and listen to Gretz just firing after stories. And I know you guys, you especially, Biss, know his memory, right? And what he remembers, the detail. And you're just sitting there like, oh my God, like you can't get enough of story time with Wayne.
If he started a podcast, we'd all be out of business. The Nash cast, the Spittin Chiclets podcast, because this guy can tell stories.
And
for
they'd be
days.
Joe Rogan length, Biz, because he just you could talk to him for 5 hours and hear different stories 10 days in a row.
Yeah, he's a hockey encyclopedia. He remembers all the details. He crushes the punchlines. Now, going back to that training camp you had with Jans, I would imagine that Jans, that was probably your first season pro. So you go to training camp. What did you make of Jans when you first see him? Because he looked like he'd been incarcerated for 5 years.
Full Metal Jacket picture.
Yeah, he was Full Metal Jacket, shaved head.
Private Pile.
He looked like he was 250 pounds. Were you like, what the fuck is this guy's deal?
Oh yeah, like I instantly loved him because like you could just tell there's a wild side to him too, right? Like he was young but so good, so talented, but he was literally the wild thing. He'd be toe dragging on the blue line, like just taking like all the risks in the world, but he had the talent, right, to do it. He just maybe needed a little bit of coaching, a little bit of guidance, but you knew it was in him. And he would be a special player. But again, back to Pat Conacher, like how hard he was on you. And I don't know what you think, Jans, or if that was maybe good for you or not. But I remember he was ruthless with your game.
So remember, he used to make me. He'd jump on the back of the net, and I'd have to push him up and down the ice after practice. With the ice in San Antonio, after an hour and a half practice was so bad, and he'd just be yelling in my face, like. He's standing on the back of the net yelling at me, you're going to do nothing. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. You definitely get humbled because you come from junior, right? You're, one of the best players. And then you're like, oh God, this is pro, right? So yeah, he was definitely good for me.
Hey, the best part of that year was when you got called up. You're like, I'm getting called up, unreal. And they literally just called you up to bag skate you for a week and sent you back down.
Were you a little chubby, Jans, back then? I can't remember.
You didn't work out.
I was a little heavy in the diapers. They called me up one time to because remember the kid Logan Stevenson? He was like a first rounder D-man, and they called me up so I wouldn't be going out with him in the minors because like he couldn't play hungover. He was like the worst player in practice. They were like, we don't care if you go out and ruin your career, but this first rounder, we need him to be good, and he can't hang with you. Yeah, it was not.
Our jobs depend on this guy. You're ruining us.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, Master, we've already got you on before to talk about a lot of your career. We did want to talk to you about things that you do have going on now. Unfortunate that the Arizona Coyotes end up moving on to Utah, but you, knowing Ryan Smith, have kind of connected and you have a Nash cast going on where you're doing that in some cases during the game, but you've also now spiraled over to a podcast form as well, correct?
Yeah, so you know what? I'm just another idiot with a podcast now, right? It seems like if you don't have a podcast, there's something wrong with you. But it was actually fascinating because I didn't get the job that I wanted to. And first of all, yeah, it is very sad, right? That Arizona, Jans, you were there, Biss, you were there. One of the best cities in America. It really is. You just needed to put the rink in the right spot with the right ownership group, and it would have worked. And hopefully one day they do get a team back because we built something special there. It was there for 28 years and we had great hockey fans. It just ultimately, the rink was not in the right place. I say this all the time. You could put the Edmonton Oilers with Draisaitl and McDavid out in Wainwright, Alberta, and fans wouldn't go to watch. You just can't, right? Not for the amount of games that you need to create that revenue base. But anyway, Utah, they deserve a team. And they have the perfect owner in Ryan Smith and Ashley. And when I didn't get the job in TV, because I kind of wanted to continue being between the benches and doing what I had done for the last 16, 17 years, I mean, there's nothing better. It was the best job in the world. So I was pretty choked up when I didn't get it, but he came to me and we belonged to the same golf course in the summertime. And where he came up with the idea for the Nash cast, I mean, obviously it's not very unique with the Peyton Manning cast, but after golf, we would sit there and there's a big round table at our golf course and he would sit there and he would listen to Ray Whitney, Kelly Chase, Brendan Morrow, John Elway, like a bunch of these guys. And he's just looking around going, these are the best stories I've ever heard. And every time a guy would come out the course, they'd sit, have a beer, and we'd tell more stories, and the table would get bigger. And it was a big, giant hot stove. And he's like, we got to come up with something. Like, do you think you could do this on TV while we stream the Utah, at the time, hockey club games and now the Mammoth, right? And I'm like, oh, God, I don't know. First of all, I'm not Peyton Manning. I'm not Eli Manning. I'm probably the third best Nash to play in the National Hockey League, right? Nobody knows Tyson. Every time I say,
and there's
what's
only
your
two of
last
them.
name? I'm like, it's Nash. They're like, you're Rick Nash. I'm like, no. Riley? No. I'm Tyson. Yeah. So I don't know how it worked, but we made it work. There were some growing pains. We did 9 Nash casts last year where we live streamed the game. We bring in guests. Biz, I know you've been on the show. And I think we ended up with 38 guests. I think 8 or 9 of those were Hall of Famers. And that's what people want ultimately, right? As you guys know, they want the stories. And when you're doing a live broadcast, there's not enough time to tell stories. After a goal, you got 5 seconds before a puck drop. What are you going to possibly say, right? That's relative to what just happened. So I think every team in the league should do it. I think it's just another option for them to have to watch our great game and hear some of these great stories, whether they're Mammoth related or not. But it's just, guys love to tell stories, and hockey players are the best dudes on the planet.
So the Bruins started it this year with Bergeron, Tuca, and Andrew Raycroft. And I actually went on for one of the games. It was a blast. And it is cool because fans can watch the announcers. They can tune in for a period with that. It's just a different way to watch it. The Red Sox have done it with a former Barstool employee that's a big Red Sox fan. So I agree with you. It's kind of the future way where you could choose how to watch games. I like it. But I did want to ask you, I've been told that Ryan Smith is like beyond nasty at golf.
Oh God. Yeah, dude. We got to get a sand. I want a rematch.
We dusted you two. We
of the
dusted
sandbagger.
You have
Donor
the
was
ugliest swing in sandbagger history.
Do you
Donor
still do
was-
driver, lefty, irons, righty?
No, Jans, I'm dialed now. I am dialed. I'm ready. I'm ready. I have not lived down that sandbagger show. I mean, I was awful, like beyond awful. And Donor was worse. Like, am I wrong? I mean, frick, I think he had I don't know what was going on with Donor. He was nervous. He was nervous. He had the yip.
So the good news now, Nasher, though, is it's the 3 of us, right? So you would be able to add Ryan Smith and hopefully another former hockey player where you would be able to have another shot at the title. It was an ugly performance in the first one. I believe we're going to have one reoccurring guest before we would film one with you guys, but you have Ryan Smith line us up at a nice dialed course, and you guys bring your game, and we would love to do a Utah Mammoth style one.
Oh, let's do it, boys. Let's do it. Yeah, I've improved. I've improved a lot. I'll tell you what, we played in a tournament the other day. The member guest for back to back. I've never played with Gretz before, right? Oh my God, was I literally shitting my pants? I'm like, I was so freaking nervous. I think I banged down like 3 or 4 high noons before we teed off at 9 a.m. My wife's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like,
what are you doing?
I'm playing with Gretz. We played the Gretz, John Elway, and Coop. I mean,
Gretz sent you down. He didn't let you play.
Oh yeah.
Went to the public course.
Hey, how good are his one-liners on the course? Like when he makes a putt and he's like, did you not have a TV growing up?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. He's so funny.
He's just ruthless, right? He's just ruthless. We were on the boat, so we get on this boat, and our boat driver's John Elway. So we're going across the lake to play at this resort-style golf course. Gretz is in there. Brendan Morrow, Ray Whitney, Russ Courtnall, Chaser was in there, and myself, and then Coop and Gretz. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy cow, what is going on? And we're playing in this, like this you had to pay to play with a celebrity. And my buddy walks by, Jake Friedman, and he goes, Nasher, who are you playing with today? Who'd you pay for? And Gretz literally almost fell off the dock. He was laughing so hard. He just loves it.
Oh, he loves the chirping. Oh, he loves the banter.
Last episode we recorded, we were kind of talking about we were talking about Lane Hutson not being invited to the Team USA orientation camp for the Olympics. You're watching this guy up close and personal in Clayton Keller. I just kind of thought of this with golf. He's another stick.
Yeah.
Let's have you explain why he should be on Team USA come the Olympics in February.
Well, first of all, they lost, right? So when you lose, you got to make adjustments. So I think last year more than anything, I mean, you should have seen Keller play. When we played Minnesota, when he got dusted by Billy Guerin, I mean, look at the stat sheet. It was like 3 points, 4 points, 2 points. I mean, he literally wanted to stick it right to Guerin for not taking him, right? So I think he proved his point last year. I think he ended up with 90 or 91 points. You know, he's a great player. He's got a ton of just connection with Matthews and the Kachuk brother. I mean, some of these, they all grew up playing together, right? So it's a perfect fit. Chemistry. That's the word I'm freaking thinking of. So,
well, Nasher, you say like stick it to Guerin, but like Billy G would be the first guy to love that. Like he wants to see a guy who doesn't make that roster, have a fire lit underneath them. But when it comes to preparation, as far as like his diet, how he exercises, his mental edge, working with Coach Dar, like he is all in. Clayton Keller, like he is 100% in, just as much as anyone around the league. And I guess you could say maybe the one thing holding him back is his size, but his neurological aspect of the game and how he thinks it and how he finds those holes and how he takes advantage and plays to his ability is kind of second to none.
Yeah. And you know what else? Like watching him grow up, I mean, he was there as an 18-year-old, right? So I watched this kid forever, and just the steps that he has taken. And now I think putting that C on his jersey has been the best thing that's ever happened for him and for the team, because now they have a leadership and a leader in that locker room who's starting to say the right things, right? And he's not always worried about his points like maybe he was, as every young player is at 18, 19, and 20. Like he wants to win. This is his team. He's embarrassed now. I mean, if they don't make the playoffs next year, he's already come out and said it. If we don't make the playoffs, like that's a losing year for us. That does not look good on our team and on me, because we have the guys to do it, and he's the leader, right? So he took his play to a whole other level this year that I think the coaches and management were really hoping he would. So it's nice to see.
Last year I had them getting in. I think they were going to be my surprise team. Look good for a while, but yeah, you would think this season they make some big steps. Have you heard what they kind of were going to do with the arena? Because I think it was a 3-summer big job where they're going to make it more hockey friendly. The atmosphere already looked incredible, but there were some blind spots, right?
Yeah, and that's why, like, I know we talked before we began taping this, but we got to get you guys out there just to experience it and understand and realize and help sell it, right, to the rest of the league, because it is a destination. I think guys really enjoy it there, especially the married guys. They just love it. I mean, you got Park City, Deer Valley. I mean, you got the most beautiful mountains in the world right around you, right? So I think free agency is going to be a lot easier, and we know that Ryan Smith has the dough to do it, right? He wants to spend it. He wants to win now, and who doesn't want to sign up for that? So it's certainly going to be a place that all the players want to go, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen, because this team is ready finally, I think, to take that next step. But Logan Cooley's a year older, Dylan Gunther's a year older. And that needs to happen. They might be a couple years away of really adding some big pieces to what they want to do, but they're pretty damn close.
And they're making moves, right? Like, obviously you hate to see Josh Dong get traded, when it's a buddy's kid, but like they're making moves to get better, right? They're going out there. They're trying to get better. Like Ryan Smith, to me, he's a member at my course down here too. And he just seemed, even with the basketball stuff, like he just seems like a guy that all he wants to do is win and put guys in a good situation. Like I was talking to Nick Bukestad the other day. He was like, dude, every day is just a good day there, because like he treats you so well. It's like family oriented, right?
Yeah. And again, I too many concussions. I forgot to answer your actual question. But the rink, I mean, I think there was like 11,000 seats in the rink that could actually see both nets. So obviously, that's an issue, much like it was in Arizona when they moved the team out to Glendale. So he is spending the money. He's got the city to step up and spend the money. That's the type of relationship that he has. I mean, he's 46 years old? I mean, he's like a multi-billionaire. And he's putting the finances together to make those moves, to make it the best fan experience for his community that he possibly can. So The rink, it's 24 hours a day around the clock. They blew out at least one side. I haven't seen it up close and personal, but by I think 3 years, both sides are going to see the nets. It is going to be a fan experience like you've never seen before. So the team's in a good spot.
And yeah, I mean, you saw it in Phoenix as well, just like the youth programs that benefit from having a team there and having guys like Austin Matthews drafted first overall. Like, I would imagine he's putting his resources into the youth hockey too. So kids in, 10, 15 years, we're going to see a lot of kids from Utah getting drafted and playing in the NHL.
Yeah. So we interviewed a kid yesterday, Schaefer Carroll Gordon, played for Team USA at the Holinka Gretzky Cup. What a stud. This guy is born and raised in Utah, but he said to us, he's like, we didn't have the players. We didn't have the coaching. We didn't have the rinks to grow the game at all. So Ryan and Ashley, that's what they're doing. I think I don't know how many millions of dollars they're putting together to build like almost rinks on every single corner, certainly in every city around Utah to make it hockey friendly. We spent a good majority of the summer this year just teaching the young kids, getting them out, learn to play, girls, boys, because that's where it starts. It starts at the grassroots. It's not rocket science, right? If you get the kids to join, all of a sudden they're pulling on mom and dad's coattails and they're like, I want to go to a hockey game. I want to go watch the Mammoth. And, tickets are almost impossible to get as it is right now. But now these kids growing up, they want to be hockey players just like I was, just like you guys were growing up in Edmonton, watching all those great players.
That's awesome. Before we hopped on, because you just mentioned Josh Doan, Shane Doan was teeing us up for a few Tyson Nash stories. I'll throw it over to you, Jans, for some of the real juicy ones that you were talking about. What was the one that stood out the most? The Nicole Kidman?
That one, yeah, but the one that I like the best, because anyone who knows Nasher, he's not afraid to throw some salt and pepper in his stories, just like his hair, which never let the truth get in the way of a good story. But I need to know, I've heard so many conflicting stories about the time you got jumped by some skateboarders when you were in Kamloops.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, freaking donor.
Take
right?
their airwalks.
Hey, to give a little backstory though, Nasher, you're a legendary Kamloops Blazer. What did you win? 3 Memorial Cups?
Yeah, I think, was it 4 years? Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Yeah.
Oh, you sound like Wayne now.
Yeah, except his were Stanley's. Mine were,
yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Like my kid, went through the Western Hockey League, right? And I don't think he was all that impressed, like growing up. He's like, yeah, whatever. But when you actually play, he was like, holy crap, Dad. He's like, just making the playoffs is hard enough. And then they went to the West WHL Championship Finals against Dylan Gunther and lost to Seattle in 4 straight. And he's like, holy crap, like you did this 3 different times and went all the way. Like you just get a new respect, right? For the challenges.
Did you guys win the league every time?
Oh yeah, we dominated. Even though we hosted the one year, I mean, we literally ran the table. We dusted everyone. I mean, some of the guys, we had Darcy Tucker, Jason Strudwick, Nolan Baumgartner, Scott Niedermeyer, Daryl Sador, Corey Hirsch, like the
Jerome.
list. Holy yeah, Jerome. Oh yeah, that guy, Jerome McGinley. I've heard of him. Yeah, so it was crazy, but I'm just trying to deflect on that story.
No, you ain't deflecting shit. So how do you find yourself in this predicament? You guys must have been running around town like legends, drinking.
Yeah, and you know what? Like the football, I don't know who it was. I don't know. He said it was skateboarders. I don't know who it was. I thought they were maybe like rugby or wrestlers, like because we ran the school, right? Like you go into school and like we're like. I don't know, like we're little studs, right? We just got charismatic and we got long flowing loafs and we're in good shape and, and we kind of, walk the walk and we were
the
good.
Guys are like, where'd these guys come from?
Yeah.
All the girls we know.
They got the varsity jackets on, the Kamloops Blazer varsity jackets.
Oh yeah. So I think it was one of those things. Donor was nowhere to be found. That's all I can tell you. Nowhere to be found. The big farmer, no, he wasn't around. So I absolutely got worked over. I came home, I had a big shiner, and I'm like, I don't know what happened, but I got my absolutely shit.
How did it start?
Well, Donor said that Nasher came back and obviously had the black eye. He's like, I just got jumped by like fucking 8 guys, whatever. So they get in the car. It's him, Baumgart, whoever. There's like 6 of them driving around trying to find this guy. He goes, by the end of us looking for these guys, he goes, Maybe it was two guys. Maybe it was just one guy. I don't know, man. Maybe it was no one.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. I don't know how many there were, but there certainly wasn't 8, but there was enough.
What was the Nicole Kidman story?
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Oh my God. So we're in Vegas, right? So I think it was
He's
like
a celebrity whore too. He loves celebrities.
Oh
Who
my
doesn't?
God. Like absolutely love it, right? So me and my wife, like everyone, you got the kind of the one off, right? Hers is Tom Brady, mine was always Nicole Kidman. So we're up in the Palms Hotel, and we're at the Ghost Bar, and I'm with Mike Modano, and that'll be part of the story, and Daryl Sador and our wives. And so all of a sudden we're having cocktails. We're just kind of in the aisleway to the bar. You know how it's like a big U, and you can go outside on the patio and look through the glass or whatever. So we're standing there. All of a sudden, you know, people start like pushing aside, and there's bodyguards. And I'm like, oh my God, who's coming in? Freaking Nicole Kidman. So she starts wheeling in with all her bodyguards, and she's walking right towards us. And I'm like, holy cow. I'm like, my God, I'm standing right next to Mike Modano and Sador, and she is staring a hole right through me. Like everyone's like,
Nasher,
yeah, right
you're
through
next to
you and
Modano.
Mike
She's looking at Mo.
And I'm Mike Modano, the guy who's actually 6'3", right? So,
His t-shirt's blowing in the wind.
oh yeah, exactly. It's flapping, right? So at least I had the sock in the front on this day. But anyway, so she goes and sits down on the couch, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And Mo goes to me, he goes, I think she was looking at you. I think she was looking right at you. I'm like, I think so too. So she's on the couch over there sitting there. I'm like, and they dared me. They go, and my wife nudged me. She goes, go ahead, go talk to her. So I grab my drink. I'm feeling pretty good, liquid courage. And I walk around, and I walk right towards her, and I walk right past her. And she was looking at me again, right? And I was like, holy cow, this is unreal. I was like freaking out. So I stop and I stand there. All of a sudden they all get up and they start walking out. And she walks, bodyguards first, bodyguard behind her, and she stops. And she looks right at me in front of me. And she goes, hey, I go, I love your work. And she looked at me and she goes, oh my God. And friggin' kept on walking the other way. All the time, all the opportunity.
Cat must have been dying.
Oh my God. The boys literally pissed themselves. They were laughing so hard. Like, that's the line I use. Like, that's all I got. I love your work.
I don't think it's that bad, but
Horrible.
fuck, that's embarrassing.
It's horrible.
Yeah. So that actually happened. Like, it actually happened, but I don't know. Anyway,
I think it's even better that you fucking whiffed it.
Yeah. I think she was trying to see if that was a real nose or not, or an elbow on my face, but
No, she's like, I can't believe I almost just went for a civilian. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sticking.
She's like, I liked you, and then I looked up your hockey DB. I need to leave.
yeah.
She's like, oh,
Happens
did
all the
you
time.
win 3 Memorial Cups?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not very impressive, but yeah.
What was it like playing with Jerome McGinley Jr.?
Oh man, it was so fun. He was so competitive, right? And he was younger than I was. But I remember we used to compete. Like, we laughed about it the other day. He was out here at the lake, and he comes down to the Waste Management Open all the time in Arizona. So we have competitions. We have a boys group that is such a blast. But we laugh about it to this day because he was 17. I think I was 18 or 19. And I beat him in points that year. I think I had 75. He had like 72 or whatever in his draft year. And
Someone check that.
I won the bet. And I'm like, how did you go 11th overall? And I went like 247th overall. Like, they don't even have that round anymore. So it was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
It's going to be pretty cool, actually, because his son, 6th overall pick by Utah. I know last year he was injured for a bit, but when he was playing, he lit it up. Any noise on, like, if there's a chance he could make the team? I mean, it'd be a big step, but incredible player, it sounds like.
Yeah, I was busting Iggy's balls too about that because I'm like, what, you had 32 goals your draft year? Your kid had 47 goals. Like, and think about that. I mean, what's Jerome got? 620 goals or like something ridiculous, right? So pretty good genes to have. Tej is an unreal player. To answer your question, it might be too big of a step. I guess time will tell. He looks unbelievable. He's been training like an animal, getting ready for this year's training camp. But he missed significant time, right? But that's where again, that kind of rule sucks, right? That he can't go play in the minors, even though he's probably not ready for the NHL right away. So he's got to come back to junior. And what's he going to do in junior? He's going to put up 80 goals? Like, I don't know. Is that good for you?
I feel like they're starting to talk about maybe lowering the age for the AHL. Like that is a topic of conversation. What were you just going to say?
I was going to say he would have been the perfect kid that went to college. Like I think there's probably 100 kids that went, but maybe loyalty, maybe just wanting to stay where he's going to be, or planning on maybe I'm going to make the NHL. But I agree with you. That's why I think all these kids are like, I'll go play NCAA, which is a step above major junior and right beneath the NHL. I mean,
you look at Gavin McKenna, right? I mean, it's a perfect place for him to be, right? At Penn State, playing against men ultimately, right? NIL money. I mean, how good is that? But Tej is, I think to your point, I think he wants to make the NHL. I think he wants to make the Mammoth, and he has that confidence. He has that swag that not many kids have, but you love to see it.
Yeah, especially when you have an old man like that who's able to direct you in every right spot.
625 goals he had.
Whew. Well, that's a perfect transition, right? To talk about your son, Ty, who played in the Western Hockey League. He's 22 now, where there was a rule before where if you played in the CHL, you couldn't eventually move on to go play college hockey, where the end of the road was either you got to go find a job in the East Coast Hockey League, maybe overseas to one of these lower level leagues that they have. But things have now opened up. So Ty ended up having to go play Canadian University last year. But because of this finally opening up the rule where they are allowed to have CHL players play in U.S. colleges, he will be playing his first year at ASU as a 22-year-old. So maybe just kind of talk about how important this is for the development of hockey players, where if the East Coast League isn't the answer, just not being boxed out of going to play in college, because it's older men, it's developed players where it's beyond what it is in junior.
And it's a longer runway. I mean, that's what everyone should have and every kid should have. I mean, why should you have to make a decision? I'll never forget it. I mean, he was like 14 and he had to make a decision that day, basically, to either go to Lethbridge in the Western Hockey League and lose his entire eligibility of D1 college in America. I mean, he's an American. He grew up in the United States. Why should that be a thing? Why has that been a thing for so long? And on top of that, the best part about that rule, it's kind of like LIV and the PGA. It's forced the PGA and it's forced the CHL now to step up in a big, big way to make their programs and make their locker rooms and make the experience and start paying these kids a little more money. Like my kid playing CHL was making the same money I was making, like 30 some years ago. It's an absolute joke. So I think it's forcing everyone just to be more accountable and make things better, right? As far as owners go. So, and the runway that I talk about, I mean, and the player that you want to see, right? The NHL, they have to be doing backflips over this, because now the development of every player is way better, right? You can have a kid at 16 go play in the CHL, throw a visor on, play the 72-game schedule, fight, ride a bus, do the grind, right? And then go to college and put a cage back on and stand in front of the net and not have to worry about fighting and develop and now work out every day of the week and then play only on the weekends. I mean, imagine that player now. And I think that's my hope for my kid, is that he's going to really have an opportunity to show himself and what he's worth. He's a late bloomer. So maybe this is the perfect opportunity for him. But kids shouldn't have to make that decision at that young of an age. I think it's probably going to hurt the USHL in probably a big, big way. But again, it's going to make everyone better ultimately.
Back to Utah, because like thinking about that team, Logan Cooley the first year in Arizona, he had like 44 points. Then he went to 65 last year. He might end up being one of those guys. You know how you see the guys the first 4 years, they keep going up. Like a 90, 100-point possible scorer, huh?
Oh, I can't even tell you guys. Like,
he's sick.
Like, and now, right, it's so great for Keller. That's why Keller's had better years, or a better year last year, because you have Logan Cooley stepping up. Now he's on the top power play. You got Dylan Gunther, who's in the same conversation, right? This guy's going to score 40 goals in the National Hockey League, Dylan Gunther. And Logan Cooley, he might have, well, I don't know yet, but he might even have a higher ceiling than Clayton Keller. But regardless, all these guys are now the foundation of the Utah Mammoth. And now you go out and add a few big pieces, right? You add some veteran leadership. I mean, that's how you win. But they are small. They need to get bigger. They need to be more competitive. They're too easy to play against. I love their D. I love their goaltender and Vamelka. He's a stud. But now these kids, as they continue to grow and get older, they're going to be ready in a year or two to do some real damage in the playoffs.
Yeah, once Bedard had mentioned like Gunther's release. Remember that, Biz? I forget when we were talking about that. It was like, oh shit! Like if he's talking about him, I think it was after World Juniors or something like that.
Yeah, and they actually, I believe they skate a little bit in the summer together. And it's one of those guys where, who do we have on talking about Brett Hall recently in one of the clips? I think it was Pierre Turgeon. And he said his bubble is like a video game bubble where if you just put it anywhere in that area, he'll find a way to get it off. And that is a very special skill set in his own right. So you got to be thrilled with this young up and coming wave of player there in Utah, along with some of the veterans. I mean, you got the Russian kid over from Tampa Bay, drawing a blank on his name, Sergachev. So you guys got some guys.
No, you do. And I was going to say, just one more thing on Gunther. You're right. He's not even a man yet, right? This guy's just still a little boy. He's 22. And wait till he gets 190 and 200 pounds, right? And he starts really ripping the puck. He's like a poor man's Steven Stamkos right now. That's who I would compare him to. Just the way he gets that puck. That's a bold statement, but as I mentioned, a poor man, but he is a stud.
But when you talk about the size, because you're right, like Keller, these guys it's a smaller group. But that's why I think, and I saw this McBain play at BC, and he played 4 years, which is uncommon now when you play in the NHL. And then he probably could keep adding more to that roster, right? He's willing to go anyone. Like that could be he could find a role there where he's playing more and more each season, I feel like, from seeing some of the games.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you look at the model, right? I mean, it's a copycat league. Florida's the model. Tampa was the model. Like that's what wins in the playoffs, right? Forget getting to the playoffs. Like if Utah last year did make it to the playoffs, they would have got their teeth pushed in, right? They're not ready yet because they're too soft, they're too small, they don't have that real bite yet. But it's coming. I'll tell you, it's coming. But Florida is the model, and guys like McBain, he's only going to get better. Signed a big ticket in the offseason. He's going to come in with the Brinks truck with a lot of confidence. You got Lawson Krause, who's looking to have a bounce back year. So they do have some of the pieces. They just need more of them.
When do you go to Gaza? Like, do you go for 2 straight months? Is like up there June 15th, back September 1st?
Father's Day, baby.
Watch the U.S. Open there, and you're there for the summer, huh?
There for the summer, yeah. And one of us doesn't belong. It's probably me. I am definitely the poorest man on property. It's not even close, with the most expensive golf membership in the world. So,
well, you have to also work as a groundskeeper. You were telling me, right?
Yeah. That's how he gets the tan.
What is each day like? Like play some golf out on that lake? You doing tubing? Like, is it just? It looks incredible there.
Honestly, it is the best place in the world for the summer. It really is. Like. And it's just the connections you meet. Like, it's just my kind of people, right? Like-minded. No one gives a shit about anything. Like, no one's, trying to flex out there. You're all wearing t-shirts and shorts. There's no rules on the golf course. And literally every day, we work out in the morning. I used to train the kids a ton, all the hockey kids up there. So that was super fun for me. And then we hit the course. We're on the course by 11 o'clock. And we play 18, we play 36. It is endless. But finally I'm getting better so I can compete a little bit. So that's been a lot more fun. And then you got the comfort stations, right? So the comfort stations take over.
Those things are dangerous.
Oh yeah. Levels are dialed though. It helps me win. It helps me.
For those of you who don't know what Gaza is, we've talked about it before. Discovery properties, they're popping up everywhere now. They have one in Nashville that just went up. Where are some other famous ones around the world?
Right?
Cabo's got 2 of them now, don't they?
They're building one in Jupiter,
Austin, Fort Worth with the Maverick. I mean, They're everywhere. Costa Rica. I mean, it's,
Silo Ridge in New York's one.
yeah.
They're-
And all they
yeah,
do
Keith.
is make money. They're the most beautiful places on the planet. Melbourne is his last name. This guy just knows how to develop, right? And I was lucky to get into it. Russ Courtnall, Kelly Chase are the two head sales guys out there. So they open up the Rolodex. They tell all their friends. You get in somewhat kind of early. I always like to get in late and get in high and sell low. That's my history.
Hell of a portfolio. Yeah.
Nasher, just from like even watching Ty in the Western Hockey League and like compared to when you played, and obviously you guys were a skilled team winning 3, Memorial Cups, but like there must have been some guys in that league that you were like, oh shit, I got to go out there and play. Like, were you playing when they would do separate warm-ups because guys would just steal nets?
Oh yeah. I mean, it would honestly, I would literally piss my pants before every game. And it didn't end there, Jens. That was the crazy part, right? It go to the American Hockey League, the jungle. Biz, you know that better than anyone. I mean, those guys are as tough as they come in the American League. And then all of a sudden you go to the NHL and you finally make it. At least you're getting paid to get beat up and your nose on the side of your face and your teeth caved in. But every night you're out there, and that's why it's hard, like to explain, like to people that haven't played the game. You're standing across one night, it's Bob Probert, it's Joey Kosar, and the next night it's Matthew Barnaby and, Sean Avery and Kelly Chase and Tony Twist and guys I played with, right? That were just destroyers. I mean, Tony Twist was the toughest human being I've ever seen in my life. I saw him.
We interviewed him.
Yeah.
He is one
Good
scary
skater.
motherfucker. He hasn't changed a bit either.
Yeah, he tried to punch your head right off your shoulders, and he almost did Rob Ray one night. I'll never forget picking up his gloves, and I saw Rob Ray in the penalty box, like trying to rearrange his face, and his whole face was caved in. I was like, oh my God. Oh, it was freaking nasty. So yeah, I'm glad the game's changed a little bit, right? But it just, I don't know. I just have so much respect for all the guys that played in our era, because it wasn't easy, because then you had to play on top of all that, right? On top of being scared out of your mind. Like in the NHL right now, would you guys be scared to play? I don't know if I'd be scared to play anymore.
No, definitely not as much as I was in the American League, getting my shit pushed in by some of those goons. When you mentioned Chaser, it kind of reminded me of that first training camp story you have, and also a couple other ones. You have an unreal Stevie Y one when St. Louis played against Detroit. We'll follow it up with that, but what was your first training camp experience when you ended up lighting up Pavel Demitra?
Yeah, so I'll give you the cold notes of it. So my dad, I was 24, right? I was in Vancouver's farm team in Syracuse, New York for 3 years. I put up unreal numbers. I fought. I did everything. But Mike Keenan came in and literally, like, he didn't care. Like, I was small. I was too small. I was never going to play for him, right? So I was so pissed off. Anyway, my dad could feel it all, right? So I get this opportunity in St. Louis. Larry Plow calls me on July 1, and I signed July 1, literally. He's like, Bob Plager has been following you around. He said, you're the guy that we need to sign. You could be a difference maker. You could make our team at some point. So I was like, holy cow. So I'll never forget, I was going from $30,000 Canadian, living in an American city in Syracuse. I was literally delivering pizzas in the summer for Pizza Hut because I didn't have enough money because of my salary. And I signed for $50,000 and $25,000 guaranteed. And I was the most excited guy in the world. But my dad, before he shipped me off to training camp, he said, hey, I know you're pissed off. I know what's happened. Maybe it wasn't fair. Maybe it was. Just don't say woulda, coulda, shoulda. So I took that into camp. I'll never forget. First inter-squad game. We go out on the ice. Pavel Demitra gets the puck, cuts across the blue line, and I'm like, here we go. I'm back checking. I cut across the blue line. I catch him in the trolley tracks, and Pavel Demitra is vertical in the air. Now, let me remind you, Pavel was their leading goal scorer for the St. Louis Blues the year before, right? And he is vertical in the air or horizontal. I don't know which one it was, but he was in the air, bucket off, lands on his shoulder, separates his shoulder. He is out cold. They literally had to scrape him off the ice with a shovel. And all I can hear is Kelly Chase on the other bench going, I am going to kill you. You're a dead man.
No, it was Larry Plow.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, my God. All I could think about was my dad. Don't say woulda, coulda, shoulda when this is all over. I'm like, yeah, I think they know who I am now. Right. So needless to say, Chaser jumped over the boards. And I tried to make a line change after they got Pavel off the ice. And Bob Plager was my coach for the inter-squad game because all the real coaches were up in the stands watching. And I go to the bench and I'm trying to make a line change. And he's like, get back out there. And I'm like, oh boy. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Yeah. So I picked the wrong door on that one. I finished third. My nose was literally on the side of my face. I had a white Blues jersey. I'll never forget. And it was covered in blood.
Yeah,
and
the new thirds.
Yeah,
you and Dimitra next to each other in the hospital, like.
Oh God, yeah. And it didn't end there. I think I ended up fighting like Todd Gill and Mark Bergevin and oh God, I can't even remember. Might have been Rudy Postchek. Like I fought like 4 or 5 other guys that training camp because they heard what happened and who did it, right? But that's how I ended up making the team. And so
that ain't happening anymore.
And it didn't stop there. You have to tell this Stevie Y story. I think that's my favorite Tyson Nash story.
Yeah. So, oh my God. So I finally kind of make it, right? And this is an ESPN game, and I'll never forget, like Steve Levy's there, Barry Melrose, they're calling the game. And, you know, I obviously didn't get a lot of shifts against Stevie Y, but I was being a complete dick all game long. I'm two-handing guys in the back of the legs. I'm face washing guys. I'm in the grill of anyone and everyone all night long. I'm chirping Stevie Yzerman, and Stevie Yzerman was literally one of my favorite players growing up. So it killed me that I was just ripping into him as much as I could rip into him, right? So then at the end of the game, somehow we're all on the ice together at the end, and there's a massive scrum behind the net, and Stevie Y comes running over, and he's trying to get at me, and finally we're together, and he's throwing punches. He hits me with one. He drops his glove, hits me with another. Gord Murphy comes in there and he's involved and he's all over me. And I'm just laughing, right? This is the funniest thing in the world. And so we don't actually fight. But after the game, the media comes in the locker room. They're like, oh my God, what did you say to Stevie Y? We've never seen him ever throw a punch and fight someone. And I'm like, I don't know what happened. I thought we were having a pillow fight. I thought he hit me with a pillow or a real soft glove. Like, can you even call that a fight? I don't even know, right? So I kind of went on, and the media goes over to Detroit's locker room, and they're like, Stevie, what happened? Like, I can't believe you got into it with that guy. And he's like, yeah, that Tyler Ganoush, like, you know, he was kind of under my skin all night. Like, he knew exactly who I was. Like, just the wit on that guy, right? Like, just
Tyler
totally
Ganoush.
buried me. And it was in the paper the next day. And I'm like, oh my God, he didn't even know my name.
Tyler
Like,
Ganoush.
You better be signing into hotels with that. That should be your name.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler Ganoush.
Every one of my buddies calls me Tyler Ganoush. And then the best part was the next night we played Detroit, this time in St. Louis. And Stevie Y, I think he had a 5-point night, put up 3 goals, and Joel Quenneville comes in. He goes, you ever do that again in the media? That's called bulletin board material, you idiot. You're going back to the minors where you came from. So I was like, oh my God.
You learned a few lessons that year, didn't you? Eh?
Oh, yeah.
But you made it. You made it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. You played your dick off, Nasher. What else did Donor tee you up with, Jens? Didn't he have was it a Jim McKenzie story?
No, that didn't have anything to do with Nasher. He was just talking about.
Definitely didn't have anything.
Yeah,
I've had
they
cold
have
showers my
nothing in
entire
problem.
career.
Yeah,
All right,
they
well
have-
let me ask this: when you went to Japan, were you playing just the same style? Were you at least like, all right, I'm going to be a power play guy, or were you still like running around slashing guys?
He went to be the tallest guy.
Yeah, for once, right? Oh my God!
How
Yeah,
did that
you know
come
what?
about?
Oh, it was unbelievable. Like, because you know what? Like, it ends bad pretty much for everybody, right? Like, even Mike Modano, who played 1,499 games, like, it kind of ended bad for him. It ended really bad for me. I mean, you guys heard the Gretzky. I never got back into the league. I couldn't get my foot back in the door, and every window was closed. I remember it was November, and Jamie McLennan, my good buddy, he calls me. He goes, hey, I got an opportunity to go play with a couple buddies in Japan, and they need another import. Do you want to come? And I'm like, well, I'm leaving my family. Like, I hope they can pay us. And they paid us like unbelievable, right? Like, and we go over there, and literally, like, they were way better than I ever thought. Like, very skilled, not totally the hockey sense wasn't really there, but they were skilled, they were fast, and yeah, they weren't big. So I was running around. I was just killing people. Like killing people. The people from like the fans for our own team were just like, what is this guy doing?
Stop.
Like they were petrified of me. They called me the Japanese assassin. Like, cause I hit a guy so hard, his helmet popped off because they always had their heads right up their ass, right? Skating through the neutral zone. I think his helmet ended up in the stands and the guy was like, they carried him off in a stretcher. Like it was just awful. And you could hear a pin drop, right? In my own building. So it was, but it was so fun. What a culture, amazing people, what an experience, and it was like a paid vacation.
Oh fuck, man!
Nah,
God,
sure.
I would love.
Beauty.
There's got to be old VHS of some of those hits somewhere. Somewhere those were being recorded.
I love it. I love it.
Well, now
you guys are the best.
We're gonna be doing obviously pods this season where we'd love to get you on to talk about the Mammoth, catch up with you, see where things are at. So we'll see you again soon, and hopefully we can collaborate and get out there and do one of these Nashcasts with you, and maybe even get Heater, Walshy, all the old school Coyotes gang in the mix, Rich Nairn, and of course O'Shandle and Witt.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Fuck, you guys kill it, man. You guys are the best.
Nasher, you're the best, dude.
Nasher,
Enjoy
you're the best. I can't believe you're 50, dude. You look fucking unbelievable.
No.
Yeah, I look like my fucking old man is what I look like. God.
Yeah.
What do you on, Nasher? What type of supplements?
Freaking nothing, dude. I am fat as shit and skinny now. I'm getting fat and skinny.
That's
this
my
fucking
problem.
build is killing me. This build is killing me. It's fucking hemorrhaging money and fucking God, I can't.
I think it's the comfort stations on Gosser.
Yeah.
More than the build. But Nasher, enjoy the last few weeks up there, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, sounds good, boys.
Guys, Whit here. I want to talk about Shell. Members get more rewards, savings, and special offers with the Fuel Reward program at Shell. Fuel Reward members can earn rewards on fuel, snacks in the C-store, dining out, shopping online, and more. All rewards earned will turn into savings at the pump. The more you shop, the more you earn rewards, the more you save on fuel at Shell. Simple as that. The more you fuel, the more you save, and it's free to become a member. That's the biggest thing. Free to become a member and become a new member of the Fuel Reward program and save 10 cents per gallon on your first fill, 20 cents per gallon on your second, and 30 cents per gallon on your third. Get everyday savings afterwards. At Shell, members get more rewards, savings, and special offers. Join the Fuel Reward program at Shell today. Visit fuelrewards.com/barstool25 for more information. At participating merchants and Shell locations, limit to 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com for more information. Guys, the NFL's back. The NHL's coming, and DraftKings is here for you. Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling along now, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Every game is another chance to cash in. Don't just watch the action, win with it. DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NFL right to your fingertips. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season's heating up. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Chiclets. That's code Chiclets to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off your NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Thank you very much to Tyson Nash in beautiful Kelowna. He's everywhere, but that was Kelowna. What a setting he had. He just needs internet now. So shout out to his friend, too, for letting him use their internet. That's kind of like one of our moves. All of us have had internet problems before. But before we went to the interview, I did mention some hockey talk. I'm starting to think, for the first time, that there is a chance Connor McDavid possibly has 1 year left with the Oilers. I
8 months.
It's not funny. Not funny at all. Not funny at all. But I actually think right now, in like certain discussions I've had that he doesn't really know what he wants to do or what he's going to do. And it's like, I'm trying to put myself in his shoes, which is insane and almost impossible to do. Like this generational talent, maybe the best actual hockey player anyone's ever seen, dominate the league the way he has, come up just short 2 years in a row, and be so obsessed with getting a cup and wanting to do it in Edmonton, but then thinking like, can that even happen? So I kind of get where he's coming from, where it's like, I don't know what I want to do yet. As a former player, do you guys like feel that way as well? Like, do you see that the worry or the not wanting to sign like right now until you're really sure that they could win it all with what they have like coming up?
100%. I think he should wait the whole year, whether he wants to sign or not, like long term there, because he's given everything he has. Like you said, they've been on the brink of winning the last 2 years. He's given them chances. Every year he's in the league, like they're like it's thriving, right? They got a new building there because of him. Like the Edmonton Oilers are in a good spot because of him. But it's also like anything that he does for me is, I think he has the right to do it. Whether he wants to go somewhere else, whether he wants to stay or not, I don't think he should be blamed in one bit for that. It's just like you just said, like all he wants to do is win. And if he thinks they can't do it there, then why not? He should be able to go somewhere else. And, you know, that's why we have free agency, and especially a guy like that, like to be able to pick where he wants to go, the terms, he could do like what NBA guys do, just sign like a 1 or 2 year deal somewhere else, try to win and chase it a little bit. But if I was an Oilers fan, obviously you're going to be pissed, but I think you gotta tip your cap to him and be like, all right, this guy's giving us everything. He's trying to win, but it would be a tough day in Edmonton history if he left. But I honestly think whatever he does he shouldn't be blamed for it.
Yeah, and I think he's in a tough spot because he knows he should make a lot of money, but he's made enough where he doesn't care about that. But he also has the NHLPA telling him, oh, you got to make this much so the next good guy can make that much. He's got his agent telling him to make that much because he wants his 4% from this. But he's thinking, well, if I take this much, then we still don't have any money left to get another D or get another forward. So he's probably trying to figure all that out. And with the years, the cap's going up, trying to do all the math. I don't know. I think he should have done 6 years? I was trying to do the math. He could have done 6 years, 16.1111 or something. It would have came out to a straight $97 million. So I thought that might have happened. I didn't see it happen yet, but I think he is on the move. I still going to go down with that. I'm sorry, this is the last year there. I think he is going to go on the move, but he just has so many moving pieces going on.
If you're going to sign a 6-year deal, you might as well sign the 8-year deal, no?
I know.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out the math and trying to figure out why it was taking so long and what was going on.
That's the
and
problem.
everything.
Is everyone thinking, me included, like he would be signed by now. 2-year extension, 3 more years in Edmonton, and I'll give him credit. Like at the Canadian orientation, the Olympic, he went on stage. He was asked about it. Then he skated at the captain's practice, skates before camp, and he did an interview about it. And that's where he mentioned like, could be a long-term deal, could be a short-term deal, could be no deal. And it was like, oh, like that was kind of the first time it even was ever mentioned or brought up. Like, yeah, I mean, who knows, kind of. And people are going to be furious at this take, I think, but I don't really care. And it's all relative when I say I kind of feel bad for him. Now, hear me out first. And I say relative because I don't feel bad for him like I feel bad for the dad who got bullied by the Karen over the fair home run ball or some like homeless guy in the street. I feel bad for him that he was drafted as the next coming. He doesn't have the cup, but he has lived up actually beyond. Like when you heard about him, you're like, holy shit, he's like better than I even heard when he was 15, 16. He's just dominated every single game since he came into the league. Edmonton has had these incredible teams the past 2 years. They were better than 30 other teams by a lot. And there's just this fucking Panthers team that was better than them. It was like They were so close. So close. And if he ends up deciding that he doesn't want to stay in Edmonton after everything he's done and put into it, people in Edmonton will hate him.
I know.
And it's like that. Hey, that's part of the business. And I don't think everyone would hate him. I think if you're really, it's kind of hard to describe. Like, there's got to be fans who would kind of understand in a way, like they take it as
Guys, before we go any farther, I got a special guest. We got to pop in quick.
Ho, ho, ho. We are live, baby. We're live on Spittin Chiclets, Donny.
Are those Watson gloves? Are those Watson gloves, Biz?
You think they're not?
This looks beautiful.
Buddy, it's insane. Hey, how would you describe this wonton?
Scottish golf course into an Alaskan glacier.
Scottish golf course into an Alaskan glacier.
Hey, that's actually two of the coolest things that I could ever think of.
I know.
Biz.
Donnie looks like he's 3 miles away. How far away is he, Biz?
Like 12 feet.
Oh.
Biz, how's the body feeling?
Like shit.
Right before Chiclets Cup 2, this guy's L5S1's going to be in his hamstring.
Oh, she's barking, boys. Team USA imploding. We got guys' dads fucking threatening to leave the country and come play for Team Canada. Come on down, Lane Hutson. Woo! Oh, fuck.
Hey.
Oh, Biz off the cliff. Biz off the cliff.
Biz, you actually just missed me admit that for the first time I'm thinking there's a chance Connor McDavid won't be on the Oilers for the next few years after this year. I'm starting to worry. I think he could also sign tomorrow for a couple years, but I'm starting to worry that he could start the season without a contract, Biz.
Did you guys talk about what we were talking about in the text thread before you recorded?
No, I kind of left that stuff off the record.
Not good. I won't say what it is, but not good. And you know what it could mean too? It's the Leafs year.
All right, we have like no water left and the sun's about to set. So
where are you guys setting up camp? Where are you setting up camp?
Russet Lake. Place called Russet Lake.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And we didn't pack sunscreen. We have run out of water. And the sun's going to set in like a half hour, but we're good.
Hey, it was good to know you guys.
I'm a little nervous. My riot date's not going to know where to go. But I did leave a couple pairs of Watson gloves as clues along the journey and protein pucks. So shout out to our sponsors, because if they wouldn't have came on board, we wouldn't be able to do this. But I do want to congratulate one guy, and that's Matt Murley. The Buffalo Bills put on an absolute fucking show last night. What was with those fans leaving early, though?
Oh, we talked about this.
I'm almost as bad. I fell asleep at halftime, but it was 3:45 in the morning, so I got an excuse.
You got two little kids, Mur.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, that wasn't good. Josh Allen addressed it. The leader he is. He should be like the mayor of the whole city. He addressed it. It won't happen again.
Biz,
you know what?
Let me get your opinion on something quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
What? No, you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say he signed with New Balance, and he made it so like a bunch of money was donated so all these kids could play youth sports. I believe it was in like it might be in the whole country, but I want to say maybe California. So just shout out to Josh Allen, just an unbelievable human being, and obviously New Balance as well for doing that. You could probably go more into detail as to what the full details of what I'm talking about is, and I'm also tripping balls, so I don't even know if I'm making sense, but he did something good.
More details of the details.
What were you going to say, Whit?
Hey, if the Bills can win this year, that means the Leafs can win this year, Biz.
I agree with that, which I hate because I want the Bills and I want the Leafs to suffer. Biz, we quickly chatted about the viral Karen who stole the home run ball from the father, and the father who was petrified and gave it to her, and I feel like you might have given the ball back too, in a sense. Like, you're not for a fighter,
100%.
For a former tough guy. You're a non-confrontational guy.
No, I thought that he did a great job of setting an example of de-escalating the situation. And it's like, fuck that lady. Here, take your fucking baseball, you loser. It's just a prime example of like the way some things have gone as a nation too, right? Like, it's bullshit. fucking bullshit.
Bullshit.
Fuck
Biz.
her.
Bullshit. Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, we miss you,
I was
buddy.
about to go a little too political.
In the middle of a Scottish golf course meeting an Arctic glacier. So who wouldn't be going political?
No oxygen in your brain and no water.
Got no water.
Hey, if he pisses the tent tonight after no water in a mountain 5,000 feet in the air, I will overreact.
We are sharing a 4-man tent.
Oh, pissing on Donny. Oh,
Four-man tent?
Hey, Donny.
No.
You know I'm a bedwetter, right?
Oh.
I assume.
Who's setting up the tent? Like this Biz? Biz, do you know how to set up a tent?
No, I've never been overnight camping before.
He'll pitch one when he talks to a hot girl at a bar, but he doesn't know how to set a full tent up.
What
That
else did you
backpack
guys
looks
talk
big,
about
too.
hockey related?
We just talked about McDavid, and you swiped in before we could get to Lane Hutson's dad just going complete like James Bond villain of USA Hockey, like threatening to leave the United States. What did he say? He said they're also dual citizens. And then I believe right away it was looked up that it takes like 4 or 5 years of sitting out international competition if you've played for one country to switch to another. Just crazy.
Till Donald Trump hears that clip and he says, "Oh yeah, you don't want to live here? See you later, buddy." Like that guy, I don't know.
That's
Mr.
a real
Hutson.
crazy hockey dad.
I don't know. I don't know him. I know his kid's a great hockey player, and I like the way his kids play. But he's got to keep his mouth shut, stay out of whatever his son's doing. Did his dad call his work and tell him that he needs a raise and stuff like that? Like, there is a certain place in the hockey world for a dad, and it's not to be talking about the GM of a United States hockey team or any team, even your own team, like the Canadians. Like, watch your kid be happy, have the best time of your life for the next 20 years watching your kids snap it around the NHL. There is zero place that he should be talking about who should be on the team. It's only going to hurt the kid, and I want the best for the kid. Like, the kid's a stud. He's going to be amazing. He's great for USA Hockey, but, like, dude, the only thing you're doing is hurting your kid, and whatever you can say, it just, deep down inside, he needs to know that that is not the right way to handle things. If I was Bill Guerin, I'd be like, hey, you were on, like, the list that you might make the team, but now you're off it. Like, there is 0% chance I would have that kid. And I love his game, but just simply because of his dad. Because what GM of a team that you're putting together for a 2-week tournament wants that headache coming in? Imagine the abuse that he's going to take this year from other teams.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, or do you think like guys just giving it to him and stuff?
100%.
Yeah, there's definitely some players. I would just more be like, when I saw the clip, be like, Dad, no. No, Dad, no.
No,
What was
Daddy,
it?
no.
What show was it? Like, what was his dad doing? Even getting interviewed?
Gee,
Exactly.
I was wondering the same thing. Like, what was that on?
It was the Habs cast. It was just a Montreal Canadiens Habs cast. It was just a Habs podcast.
You know, as he's saying those things, the host of that show must have been talking about pitching a tent with Biz.
He was like this.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Evil, Monty Burns style.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my God, this guy. The best part of the little quote or what he said, he's like, there's no animosity towards it. ... My sons are also Canadian. It's like, no animosity. You said, I don't know what Bill Guerin's thinking. Like, and I actually think it would have been so much better off. Like I brought up, I kind of thought it was ridiculous he wasn't a part of the orientation camp. And other people were saying the same thing. Like, leave it at that. And then it's
Let
out
other
there
people,
you know, like, leave it at that. People are already saying it. You know what? Maybe they left him off the friggin' orientation camp because they know you're crazy.
Yep.
Or like we had Lane come on Game Notes. Army knows him pretty well, and he was so quiet. He didn't really talk much at all. He's such a nice little kid. Maybe that's why. Maybe the dad knew, like, well, Lane's not going to ever say anything. I got to speak up for him or something along those lines. But I remember the story.
It's okay?
No, I don't think it's okay at all. But I remember the story from Game Notes when he came on. He told us how his dad, that the reason they skate so well, their dad would put them on the ice without laces in their skates. And they'd have to learn how to skate without the laces in their skates. And that's why they have such good edges and they can hop around like they do.
You don't think I'll be doing that next practice with Ryder?
Yeah. and then you'll be telling them, hey, my kids,
You'll be calling the A coach and be like, hey, you got to take Ryder.
My kid's Portuguese too. I'll take them over there. They'll bring them into the World Championship C division. But I think it's like, it's probably hard, like being devil's advocate, because I was also like, oh man, this is kind of a tough watch. You know, you're so intense. It's your kids. You're watching. You care about them so much. So you kind of know where it's coming from. It's more just like you got to know when to press record and do a show, or just, you know, call your buddies and bitch about it to them and be like, this is bullshit. Talk to your kids about it. But I'm imagining that as a player, you're like, oh, I kind of don't love that this is like making the rounds on Twitter. The threat to be Canadian's unbelievable, though.
Yeah, like Canada's not better than the U.S. at hockey. Like, as if he's just going to go from a team that's, I mean, Canada just
that's
beat
what it
US,
is now,
so
Keith.
like,
You know, we're number one now.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like we're all parents and we're all like the biggest advocates for our kids and like whatever. But if my kid's trying out for a volleyball team at school, middle school, and they don't make it, I ain't calling the school. Never mind in the NHL. Like it just can't happen. Like there's boundaries in everything, and especially in your work life when your kid is in the NHL. You just got to enjoy. Just sit down, watch the games, crack a couple beers, have some friends over, brag about your kid. There is no reason to step into this kid's career. Like the only thing you can do is hurt it. There is zero upside to it, in my opinion. You guys might have different opinions, but I think it's insane.
No, it was just like, whoa, you know, listening to it, you're like, this is, I don't remember anything like this really, where you know, dads have kind of said things before. I remember, I think like Eric Lindros's dad was maybe a lot. Unless I'm making that up. If I am, I apologize. I thought, like, you've heard Marner's dad get mentioned in things, but this one was out in the open on the Habs cast. So
you think he's talking, like on that Habs cast, obviously I didn't watch the whole thing, but you think he's talking about him re-signing with Montreal and stuff too? Did he? Did anyone listen to it?
No, I actually didn't listen to it. I just saw the one clip. I think that they're... Man,
I just don't understand how that ever even happens. Like, we're going to call up Hutson's dad and have him on the show.
I mean, maybe he reached out to them. He's like, hey, 100%. I got some stuff for you. I got some stuff for the Habs cast, and I'm going to come on, and I'm going to threaten that my son's going to be a Canadian.
And it looked like he flew in for it, too. He looked like he was live there, right?
No, I don't think so. I think it was over Zoom. I think it was over Zoom. He did it from Hockey Canada's headquarters.
Sitting down with Mac T.
I'll show them. I'll show Bill Guerin. I'm going to go on the Habs
I'm sure
cast.
Billy G's really just like shaking in his boots.
I think the funniest part for me was like Lane was sick at World Juniors. Cole was like one of the best players in the tournament last year. And it's just like, they're just USA hockey staples in my mind. At the end, he dropped the dual citizen bomb, the Brett Hull bomb. Well, I mean, I think Brett Hull more so did it because he didn't make a team originally. Is that what we've been told? Like, all right, I'll go play for USA. Not like I didn't get invited to camp. I'm going to go to Canada. Who has ever done that? If anything, once you played for US hockey.
I thought once you played one international tournament, you can't play for another country.
So too, but it's 4 years.
That's what I thought.
4 years,
Brett Hull was cut from the 1996 World Junior team. He actually wasn't even invited to the tryout.
86, you mean?
Yeah, it was the 1986.
Wow.
Yep. And then 1991 is when he played for USA.
Oh, because he went to college, I think. I think he went to like Duluth or something. So maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah, I just remember too, like my age when there was really like no internet like there is now. So you didn't really know every player. You knew all the players at Hockey Night in Boston and then this tournament. And then when we got to our World Juniors, there's 5 or 6 kids there at the camp that are from Canada. I'm like, what the hell is this? I had myself pinned in on this team. I know where I stack up. All of a sudden, these 5 or 6 half Canadian guys show up because their mom was American or whatever.
Did your dad call?
No, I guess he should have. He could have made the team.
Merles, if Teddy Murley ends up becoming a stud, that kid will be on Team Sweden faster than you could go on the Habs cast, I think, right?
Yeah, let me tell you about him. Like, I almost screwed this whole thing up. I've been sending you guys videos all winter. He's got the slap shot down at 1 year old, right? Summer comes over here, and we're out at the beach. It was beautiful. It didn't rain any days, so just every day, wake up, bring him to the beach. Wake up, bring him to the beach.
Deviled eggs.
We come back to this house afterwards. He doesn't know how to hold the stick anymore. he's holding it like a broom. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, he had the natural stroke. And now I screwed it up.
I didn't do my job this summer. I didn't have him on the beach with the hockey stick every day.
Fuck the tan.
Yeah. So 1.5 years old, turns 2 in a month. I got him back. He's back on. I got him this thing. I don't know if you guys have them over there. It's called floorball. It's big in Finland and Sweden. It's got this big plastic blade on the bottom, and it's a round shaft.
With a little net.
Yeah, and it's kind of hooked, right?
Yeah, you can curve them.
Yep.
Yeah, and he can just rip it with that. It's awesome. So I'm out in the street playing him with that, and he's ripping it. He's back. I got the daughter. She's got the stroke back. So we're firing.
Let's go.
That's huge.
Just in time to come over to the wonderful USA hockey model of club hockey and town hockey, and missing the town hockey for club hockey, and 47,000 club hockey teams. And I'm on the tier 4 elite triple platinum fucking star team. And so it's great. It's great. It seems like Sweden's system is really broken, right? With 100 NHLers from a country with 7 million people. So with that, we could talk and throw it over to a young phenom himself, Mardy Fish. I enjoyed this interview a lot. I knew who he was. I kind of knew who he was because him and Pavelski, and before Pavelski retired, it was kind of just Mardy Fish almost, like the #1 celebrity golfer on all these tournaments they do of former athletes and celebrities. Mardy Fish, I think he's won them all. So I knew about his golf game, and then I saw his documentary, which we talk a lot about. Incredible story, good dude, and I'm glad we get to sit down with him. So the U.S. Open was amazing. I don't know if you guys caught any of that. NFL Sunday, kind of crazy that the U.S. Open men's final is like 3 o'clock, week 1 of the NFL. But Alcaraz, he just ran over Sinner. Alcaraz, I think he lost 1 set maybe in the whole tournament. And then in New York, as a young stud who just won, I think his 5th major would do, he partied with models all night. I saw pictures of him with models. So couple clicks for Carlos Alcaraz. Also, I think was playing golf in between like most of the matches. Just he's living the life. But with that, we throw it over Mardy Fish. Guys, it's Whit here, and I'm holding a Body Armor Strawberry Banana, my favorite. This episode is brought to you by Body Armor Sports Drink. Right now, Biz is in British Columbia. He's fueling up, and he's run out of Body Armor. How dumb is that guy? He brought Body Armor. He was telling me about the Body Armor he'd need when he was all down and out and needed to be hydrated and to taste an amazing drink while hydrating himself, and he's got nothing left till he gets to his campsite. What an idiot, but I got plenty. Body Armor. I'm holding Strawberry Banana. I think G, what's you're the orange mango guy, maybe?
The orange is great in the morning. It's incredible. It's just my replacement for orange juice.
Body Armor has great tasting flavors. Orange mango, strawberry banana. There's no artificial dyes, flavors, or sweeteners. None of the crap, in a bold new look with the same great taste. Get your Body Armor today at Walmart or a local grocery store near you. Body Armor. Choose better. It is a pleasure now. A pleasure. Very different guest for the Spittin Chiclets audience. I'm fired up to interview this guy. At one point, the 7th best tennis player on the planet. One of the best non-professional golfers, maybe, that I've ever watched, winning the American Century Classic twice. I still don't even know how we got this guy on, Biz, but it's Mardy Fish. Thank you so much for joining the show.
It's so cool to be on. I appreciate you guys. I'm a big fan of the show. So, and I feel like I should be on a hockey show or a hockey podcast because I'm born in Minnesota, born in Edina, the hockey capital of the world.
That state is the best state of hockey in the
close.
Country. You got that.
We're close. We were on skates. I moved when I was 5. My dad teaches tennis. Got a great teaching job down in Florida. So moved the family down to Florida when I was like 5 or 6 years old. But I was already on skates when I was 2.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. And the reason we got you on is you ended up following me on Twitter, and then I DM'd you right away because I'd watched your documentary. It was incredible. A great story of obviously resilience, and we'll get into that later. But, with the U.S. Open going on, I'm like, this is a perfect time to get you on. I don't follow a lot of tennis, although this Sinner guy is making me want to watch tennis because he's a freak out there. Now, is this like this guy's like the next best thing since what, Roger Federer?
I mean, Well, Djokovic is still playing. I mean, Djokovic is in the semis against Alcaraz on the other side. There's two guys right now. They're pretty much dominating tennis. It's Yannick Sinner, who's number one in the world, Italian kid. He's about 24 years old. He's won 4 majors already. And Carlos Alcaraz, who's like 23 or 24, same type of age. He's won 5 majors. So these two guys have played in. Sinner won the U.S. Open last year. He won the Australian Open. Then Alcaraz beat Sinner in the final of the French, and then Sinner beat Alcaraz in the final of Wimbledon. And now here we are in the semis of the U.S. Open. Looks like they're going to play each other in the final, which if it's anything even remotely close to the French final, I don't know if you guys saw that. French Open final was one of the best tennis matches you'll ever see, over 5 hours, and those guys played for 5 sets and played forever. And the level that they're playing at right now is probably the best level. I mean, eras continue to get better and better, I think, over the years. And it's hard to say that he's playing at a higher level than like Djokovic did when Novak was, maybe 6 or 7 years ago and still super dominant late in the, kind of 2017, 18, 19, like around there. Roger was still playing at a high level and Nadal was still winning the French Open at a high level. So it's hard to say that Sinner's playing that good, but because it was so close to then, it hasn't been that long. And there haven't been like changes in technology or anything like that in terms of string or rackets or anything. But man, the level these guys are playing at is incredible.
Have you ever played with one of those wood ones? The old school ones?
I tried it. Yeah, I've tried it. I went to, Dr. Phil McGraw. He's got this like crazy house out here in LA, and he's got like the best clay court in like Los Angeles.
The bald guy who's on television?
Yeah, dude, that guy pulls like $100 million a year, dude. I'm telling you, he's and he's the coolest dude ever. He is the coolest dude ever. And so he'll let me come like play at his house. And he's got all these awesome like old school rackets and stuff like that. And I'll hit with him. I'll hit with the wooden rackets. It's weird. It's like, I mean, because the sweet spot's like this big. It's tiny, it's tiny, and the rackets are strung with like cat gut and like all this weird shit. But it's cool. They're different.
Come on, like cat guts, like
actually? like gut, like string, like tennis string, like is created or made from like cat gut or something like that. Don't quote me on that.
Peter's going to be all over this now.
Close, yeah. Peter's pissed. So they found a different way. A different way to do it with some Luxolon string and all this stuff, but there haven't been a ton of advances like recently. So that's why it's incredible to see these two guys. You saw 3 guys that were generational, and you thought, okay, Novak's got 24 majors, Djokovic's got 24 majors. There's no way anyone's going to catch him, and these 2 guys are coming along, and they don't have a whole lot of competition right now in terms of like super high level, and so they're just blowing through guys that are 10 in the world, no problem. It's incredible.
When they had the big 3, and then I guess you could say Murray was in the mix there, so the big 4,
totally.
Was that considered the best era of tennis of all time?
I mean, I think it was at a. I mean, I'm fairly obviously biased. Like, it's almost a blessing and a curse to play in that era, right? Because like my best tennis that I played was maybe 2003, 2004, and then maybe 10, 11, 12, 2010, 11, 12. And like 2010, my best year, 2011, those guys were all at the top. So like Murray had either just won Wimbledon or he was about to win Wimbledon for the first time since Fred Perry in like 19 something a long time ago. And he was about to win the gold medal at the in the Olympics at Wimbledon, as a Brit. So, he was the 4th guy. He was the 4th best guy. So, it was kind of a blessing and a curse. Like, yeah, it's awesome to be a part of that and to, make kind of we have a year-end championships, which is called the World Tour Final. It's the top 8 players in the world. And I was able to make that and make it with those 4 guys. And like, because they would take 4 spots. There's only 4 spots left. And you're just hoping to
to get that. So I snagged one of those last spots and got beat up pretty bad. Well, I lost in 3 sets to both Federer and Nadal, but you're in the group with Federer, Nadal, and another French guy who was awesome. And it's just like, there's no easy, there's no freebies at all. So it's like, it's a blessing to be able to play in there and to say, oh, did you play Roger Federer? No way. How was he? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I played him. I mean, he beat me like almost every time. So
I just recently quickly, our producer mentioned Dr. Phil's got a net worth of $460 million.
Oh, that'll do
there
it.
you go.
So that'll
I'd have each court. I'd have a clay court. I'd have a grass court. I'd have a hard court. Kind of like
By the
where
way, that's
Djokovic is
post-tax.
staying.
That's post-tax, by the way. So, that's about a bill out
That's a
here,
Billy.
especially. That's a Billy goat out here.
But I watched the documentary when it came out, Breaking Point, unreal. And I recently watched it because I knew you were coming on. And so I have kind of a bunch of questions from that, almost starting from the beginning. Tennis is an interesting sport to me because you kind of find out who the future pros are at a super young age. Like, unless I'm completely wrong, but it seems like, especially for the women, like 13, 14, 15, you're like, all right, this person's coming. You went to this, is it Saddlebrook?
Mm-hmm.
And all the greats were there, Pete Sampras, all these guys. And then part of the things I read about you was at 2 years old, you weren't just skating, you were actually like from the baseline getting it over the net. So were you always just super talented, kind of like a phenom? I know you're modest, but at a super young age, and that's kind of why you guys moved to Florida?
No, so I played all sports. We were a big proponent. I've got a son who's 11 years old, who's a pretty sporty kid as well, and a daughter too, but daughter Stella right here. She writes that on my board. And so our thing is you got to do a team sport and an individual sport, just because I think it's individual sports are so unique in you don't have anyone else to rely on. You got to, especially tennis. Like tennis is like the non-contact gladiator sport. You leave the locker room, you just walk out there in the arena and you play, but you only have to beat one person. You don't have to beat the whole draw. It's not like golf where you got to beat like 140 guys in the same day. Like you just got to beat one person on that one day, figure that out. And oh, by the way, once you get out there, the crowd's there, the conditions, whether it's hot, cold, whatever surface you're on, however your opponent plays, there's a lot of things that are kind of out of your control. And then team sport wise, I was a big baseball guy. I really liked baseball. I thought that was kind of the most fun sort of team sport where you're just kind of with your boys. It's not super physical. You're not going to really get injured all that much, and you're just taking a stick and trying to hit a ball as far as you can. So, so I did a lot of that stuff, and then I played this, kind of niche tennis sport where when you grow up in sort of grade school and elementary school and stuff, you're not the quarterback of the football team, and it's like hard to, it's hard for kids your friends to understand like if you're a good athlete or not, right? Or if like to really truly understand like how good you are at tennis or at golf or whatever. And I excelled when I was younger, I excelled in golf, tennis, and baseball a little bit, and so I played like a pretty high level junior golf and junior tennis post 13. I stopped playing baseball when I was 13, so I could sort of see how good I could get in those two sports. I loved golf and I loved baseball, but I guess my dad saw something in me. My dad growing up has been a tennis fan before I was born. He was going to the US Open as a fan before I was even born. And so when I showed a little bit of promise in tennis, obviously pushing me towards that sport. And thankful he did. But it was one of those things where I played. Florida is a really tough section and a tough part of the country to play tennis in. They've got a lot of really good junior tennis players there, mostly because of the weather and just there's a lot of tennis players in that state. I was ranked like 50 in the state of Florida, which was like pretty solid. I could go to, I couldn't go to like my first choice, like, University of Georgia was number one in the country in tennis, or is a lot of times. My buddies ended up going there. Like I couldn't go there, but I may have been able to go to Florida State or like, so I could have gone to a cool school and used it as a tool for an education or something like that. And we lived in a small town in Florida called Vero Beach, Florida, just a small beachy sort of country beachy town on the East Coast. They're about an hour north of Palm Beach. And I had sort of run into like not being able to find players that were better than me because it's, again, small, kind of a small town. And so I was kind of playing with like, I would like play sets with our veterinarian who like really liked tennis, and like he was a little older, and like, guys that are like a little older or whatever. And so we sort of came to the conclusion that in 10th grade, my sophomore year in high school, that we would try an academy where I would just give up everything else. I wouldn't play, junior golf tournaments anymore, and I would just focus on tennis. And when I went there, I was ranked right around 50 in the state of Florida, and I left like number 1 in the country. So I was able to, so in 10 months, I was able to play someone that was better than me every single day. So I'd show up, and there's a challenge ladder, and there's like 50 kids in the challenge ladder, and I was 50. And the number 1 kid would beat me 6'1", 6'2", 6'1", or 6'2", something like that. We'd play a set, and you just sort of move up and down on these challenge ladder, and everybody sort of followed along. And I got there, right around the bottom and left at the top. And it was, again, like I was able to play every day, all day. We didn't do any schoolwork. It was just like we went to school for like 2 hours. And you played in the morning before school, and you played after school all day, every day. Guys like Pete Sampras were there. Guys like, so you could see the greatest players in the world and how they prepared and how they trained and all that stuff, which was awesome. And I left there starting, kind of in the summer before my junior year of high school, right around one of the top players in the country. And then ended up going one more sort of half school year, and played a bunch of like ITF tournaments, which are like junior, like world stuff. Like, so you're playing all over, you're playing in Italy on clay, you're playing in, you're playing junior Wimbledon, junior US Open. There's a junior circuit that's like, and you're not making any money. And so it's like really, it was really difficult for my parents to be able to, afford that kind of stuff. They've got a kid like flying around all over the world, playing in these tournaments, going to Asia, going to these wild places like in Pattaya, Thailand. Saw some shit in Pattaya, Thailand that right to this day, I would be like, holy shit.
Well,
and I was
could
15,
you talk
16
about
years
it?
old. Well, I mean, like you'd go up, I mean, it was one of those hotel like areas where it was a hotel, and the tournament was at the hotel. I was like 16 years old.
This sounds like White Lotus before White Lotus.
Yeah, kind of. But there's like a strip or a street behind the hotel, and it's like kind of near the water or on the water, and a beautiful place. But then this street was just like bars and restaurants and like strip clubs, that's all they had. And so you'd go into a bar, and you'd have all these like Thai girls like come up to you, these beautiful like Thai women, like showing you interest. I'm like, damn, I'm on fire right now. This kind of thing. They're all prostitutes, every single one of them. And so you
some of them are lady men.
Did you have to get the Crocodile Dundee, the nut grab, just to make sure?
Well, and then so I'd go in, and you'd go to like one of these bars, and there'd be people like on stage, and there'd be like women like shooting like ping pong balls, like, out of their hee-hoos, and like, just like, and I'm 16 years old, dude. And so it's like, so I saw, so you're seeing stuff that you're growing up fast is my point. Right. And like, I didn't finish half of my junior year of high school. But I saw the world and traveled the world and saw some shit that like, that not necessarily like that, but like, saw some like real stuff where like you're in Manila in the Philippines, and there's a kid that's 8 years old, like trying to sell you gum because they have no money. And like, just sort of, I saw the world when my friends were all at school, and just felt like I grew up faster, doing that as opposed to going to school. So it was a wild, upbringing, and there were obviously sacrifices that you make where you don't have, I didn't go to prom, or I didn't go to like, all that normal stuff that people do, or kids do. But I didn't have to do schoolwork. Like I was training, like I went to practice instead. Like they went to, I went off to a tournament, and they had to do finals or SATs. I never even took my SATs. So it was like, I turned pro at a really young age. And you had to bring that full circle. Like there's only so many years on your body for a tennis player. You see it now, or the advances of like, fitness and medicine and just understanding your body and training and all that stuff. And you can play a little bit longer. Novak Djokovic is 38 years old. He's in the semis of the US Open. So like you can still do it, but man, it's hard to do it for a really long time. Like my body, I'm not a football player or a hockey player necessarily. So I didn't get beat. Like I didn't get like hit by people, but man, I've been like pounding on hard courts, on concrete,
joints
my
and
feet,
stuff?
my knees.
Yeah.
My knees. I showed my daughter who's 8 yesterday. This morning I was tying her shoes before school, and I said, "Stella, can you hear this?" And I was like, just like bending down to sit down, and then standing up, and it's like that's my knees, like just cracking, whatever. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of wear and tear on your body, and then the travel, dude. We start in Australia, and then we come back to the U.S., and we go to Europe, then we come back to the U.S., and we go back to Europe for like 3 months, and then we come back to the States for this sort of section. After this, these guys have like 2 or 3 weeks off. They'll go back to Asia to play like 3 tournaments in Asia, and then go back to Europe to play 3 or 4 tournaments at the end of the year in Europe. So it's like, it's that weighs on you as well. It's expensive. It weighs on, it's like, it's difficult. So, there's a lot of cool stuff about being an individual athlete in a super individual sport, which I love. I'm I love the team aspect, but I'm a individual sport guy. I love like having all the accolades and then also all the blame if you stink. So it was the sport that I chose. I wish I chose something else because it's really hard, but it worked out.
When you're at that young age, when you moved to that academy and you said you were ranked 50th, like as you were climbing up, at any point were you like, oh God, this is kind of wearing on me mentally and physically, where you maybe wanted to quit, or because you had like you were chasing that number 1 spot and there was something to build towards, like you were kind of all in and you didn't really look at it like a job at all, and you just were really truly enjoying it in the moment?
It became a job. Tennis becomes a job pretty quickly. You're your own boss, like right away. You don't have to, I've never had to answer to anyone. Like you can hire someone and you can tell them, tell me whatever you think. And so the best coaches in tennis, I think the best coaches in general are coaches that want the job but don't need the job. They're not afraid to tell you what you want to hear and all that stuff. Sometimes I didn't want to hear some of the stuff that like your coach would say, so you just fire them or you just go a separate way or whatever. Like, because we are our own boss, and so I never came across the vibe of like, this isn't working out, I'm going to stop, because I love sport and I always wanted to be a professional athlete, and that was what I did. I was a tennis player, and yeah, it's just it's one of those sports where it's super individualistic. It is, you get all the blame and all the credit, period. And there's a rush in winning in tennis because you can. There's a lot of losing. There's even if you play a match and you win 6-4, 6-4. This sounds fairly routine. I don't know if you guys know scoring very well or whatever. It's a fairly routine win. And you look at the stats and you probably won 51% of the points, which means you lost almost half the time. It's a ton of losing to like try and mentally get over that hurdle and stuff. But no, at a young age, Biz, like I loved it. Like it was, I hated school. So like that was the last thing I wanted to do. I just hated it. So I just wanted to, I didn't have to do that. I'd go visit my friends at Florida State where they were for like, a long weekend over Halloween and act like an idiot for 3 days. And then I'd go back to train and they'd have to go back to school. And I just thought it was awesome. So,
That is awesome. Was that around the time that you ended up befriending and meeting Andy Roddick?
Yeah. So my sophomore year, that 10th grade at Saddlebrook, that following year, I actually, Andy and I shared a coach. So we had the same coach. His name was Stanford Boster, who's a really hard-nosed South African guy. Didn't put up with any shit. If we were unprepared, we had a mile lap kind of around our like where we trained, like run a mile. You did it more than like 3 or 4 times. He'd drop you off 2 exits down and tell you to run 6 miles back home, type stuff off 95, like off the freeway, basically. Yeah, literally old school. And I learned a lot from that, where I was a, pretty soft, like, sweetish kid, right? Like I was, and he instilled like a lot of like toughness in me, a lot of feistiness in me, or brought out a lot of like feistiness and stuff. And I lived with Andy and his parents. I was like a brother to him. We fought at everything. We competed at everything. We went to the same exact school at the same exact time, but we drove separate cars because I thought I had a faster way than he did, and he thought he had a faster way. We tried to date the same girls. We tried to like all that stuff. So we competed at everything. He was truly a brother, like where you just love and fight about everything. And he's still to this day, we don't talk nearly as much. He's in Charlotte and I'm out here in LA. We don't talk nearly as much, but we're family, right? Like we're family. So we spent a lot of time together. We trained a ton. We practiced, we pushed each other. And he had an incredible career, Hall of Fame career, first ballot Hall of Famer. He was a alpha, the alpha in our generation, alpha male of our generation, and took a lot of the brunt of the press and the media of not, why is an American not winning more majors and all that stuff. And he's kind of cheeky answer always was, I don't know, I won the US Open as them, kind of thing. So we never, James Blake, myself, we never got over the hump in terms of winning another slam for the States. But again, that comes in the era of when we played, which was like they weren't giving them away very often either.
It's cool though that like living together, it was, and even Saddlebrook, your rise, it's like iron sharpens iron. Like that's, I don't think either one of you guys, well, maybe I'm wrong, make it to the levels you did without each other those 2-3 years, I guess. I mean, I watching him, you talked about the French final this year. That final against Federer was at Wimbledon, where it was 16-14 in the 5th set, Biz. Like they went 5 set. It was insane, but it was pretty sick. He got one major because, with his kind of resume and what everyone thought about him, if he didn't get one, you'd feel a lot worse. I mean, he was incredible.
Andy, that you're talking about the 2009 Wimbledon final is one of the best matches of all time. 16-14. Andy actually didn't lose serve until 15-14 in the 5th. That was the only time he lost serve. Rogers' sets that he won in that match were both tiebreakers. Andy beat him. Andy broke him like once or twice. An epic match. I'll never forget that match because Andy was up a set and he had like a high volley like on the net, kind of in a breaker to go up like 5-3 or 6-4, one of those things. And Roger beat him in so many big matches, semis of Grand Slams, so many times in the semis of Grand Slams. He beat him in another final, Wimbledon. He beat him in 2 US Open finals. Andy, if Roger wasn't there, I think Andy would have won 6 to 7 to 8 majors, honestly, just if Roger wasn't there, because I don't think anyone was beating him outside of him. And then Roger just had he had the game to beat him. He was so good at, because Andy's serve, he sort of changed the game in terms of how fast guys would serve and how big they would serve. He had the fastest serve ever at one point at 155 miles an hour. The reason why I know that is because his boat was named 155. Which is kind of dorky, but so I remember how fast it was because he named his boat 155. But he's like he sort of changed the game in terms of like how big you can serve and get away with it. And then he was just a mental bulldog, dude. He just was a bulldog and he would just never quit. And he thought he should win and he thought he should win everything. He's down 5-0 and he still thought he should win. And they're rare. Like you would think that's like, there's only so many things in sport or really in tennis, but really in sport where it's like you can control your attitude, you can control your effort, and you can control like how fit you are. Right, like that's kind of it. Like I can't control how I'm gonna feel when I wake up tomorrow. I'm not gonna control how if Biz, you and I were playing, how you're going to play or how you feel or the weather or the crowd or the balls or the court, whatever. But I can control my attitude. I control how hard I try, how hard I try, or how good my attitude is, how hard I try, and how fit I am, because I can work my ass off to do it. Otherwise, you can't really control. And in sport, it's, in all sports, it's fairly similar. It's certainly attitude and effort, like, just went a long way. Like, and there's so many times where you wake up and you're like, oh, I got to play again today. I got to play this guy. This guy is brutal to play, or he's not fun, or it's hot out. And there's no excuses, and there's those fucking timeouts, and there's no anything. There's no like, hey, can a sub come in? Like, I don't feel good. Like, you just have to do it. And I think that's, like, Andy did such a great job of that, but also how these kind of like Roger was so dominant for so long, and there's no way he'd wake up every day and go, yeah, I feel awesome, and go out there and play awesome. Because you never do. Like, you rarely play. I don't know if you guys play any golf ever, but like, you rarely play like really good in golf. Like, so it's like a lot of it's mental to try and get around and figure it out. And I've sort of fallen in love with the mental side of sport and the mental side of like tennis. And now I play a lot of golf, bunch of little celebrity golf tournaments or athlete golf tournaments and stuff like that they have around. And like a lot of, it's like just figuring out the mental side, picking guys' brains. There's tons of hockey guys in it. Joe Pavelski is one of the best golfers I've been around. And he's phenomenal golfer. And Joe and I have played, I used to win a lot of them. Joe and I played 4 tournaments together this year, and Joe won 3 of them and I won the other one. So not happy about the way that this year went. But Joe's the sweetest guy. He's the nicest dude. So it's hard to get pissed at him.
Oh, he's the best.
He's the best.
We got to get him on at some point. Wait, you had one? Sorry.
Yeah, just from the movie that I watched, the documentary, like, you ended up reaching a point where you kind of something clicked, and it was you mentioned 2011 when you had that rise, and you grabbed your trainer, the guy Christian, and just kind of went nuts. You went psychotic. I'm curious, like, at that point in your career, what made you be like, all right, I'm all in? Like, you lose all that weight, you're training all day, but like, I'm just wondering, like, why wasn't it 3-4 years before that? Like, what in your mind changed?
Why wasn't it before that? I honestly believe that everyone matures at a different rate and a different pace. Like, honestly, speaking of Andy Roddick, like, Andy matured much faster than me mentally in that category, understood the professionalism, discipline, dedication it takes to get everything out of your God-given abilities. And I just didn't get it. I just truly didn't understand. I was super talented. I would go out and I'd go, this French guy, he's ranked 8 in the world, and I'm 20 years old or 21 years old, and this guy's ranked 8 in the world, and I've been watching him play growing up on TV. And I get out there in a big tournament in Miami, and I'm like, the fuck is this guy? I can beat this guy. This guy's got like pudgy little legs. He doesn't look like anything. Like, I can beat this guy. And you go out and I beat him. And then it would just become, I wasn't consistent because I was never truly fit enough. And I didn't understand like how important fitness was in tennis. Like, truly, like, if you're carrying any extra weight above your waist, you're just got to carry it around for no reason. Like, you don't need it. That's why, like, you look at Jannik Sinner or Novak Djokovic, they're super lean. You look at Roger Federer's right arm and his left arm. His left arm looks like he had a stroke. It's so small. And his right arm is like a monster. He's like super strong because he's a one-handed backhand. He didn't use it. He didn't have any use for his left arm. So you don't do anything. You don't have time for it. And so like, understanding that and figuring it out was a big part of it. I'd gotten married as well, and sort of grounded me to where I was like, okay, it's not just me that's out there now. It's like I've taken care of somebody else. Really, was very close with her family and her parents and her father, and just kind of just was like she's mine now. I will take care of her, and like bringing her into the mix and part of your team was big. And then honestly, like, 2009 was when I had this knee surgery, just a cartilage issue. It was honestly because I was too heavy for what I was doing. Like, and it wasn't I've got too much muscle. It was just like, and I wasn't a guy where like you walk down the street, you're like, oh, that guy's overweight. You're like, wait a minute, that guy's a professional tennis player, overweight? Okay. He could probably get lean out a little bit, like that. And 2009, I had to have a cartilage issue. I had a cartilage issue with my knee, so I needed to get it fixed. And I had like all of a sudden I have 3 months, and I had never had 3 months. Certainly this late in my career. And I truly had like one of those where they'd say like, oh, an aha moment, or you look in the mirror or whatever. I truly did like look at myself and go, this is it, dude. Like, this is your chance. You either do it and you never know what could happen. Because I still didn't know you do all that stuff, and I'll get to it. I didn't know. I certainly knew where I could be. I could be 30 in the world for the rest of my career and make a little bit of cash and leave and retire and probably have to do something else post-career, and which is fine. It's life, whatever. Or you could go all in and just see what happens, see where it takes you. Because I'd always wanted, it's like one of those things where like I always want to learn a language. I want to learn another language, and you just never get around to it. It's like, I want to do this or I want to do that. You just never really get around to it, whatever. Even though it was my job, I still had success. It was few and far between. It was like I'd have a great result, and then I'd go away for 5 weeks, and like just wouldn't. I was never consistent. And so I set out and we calorie counted everything. I hired a chef. She made all this, a Guatemalan chef. She made all this food, this amazing food and stuff. And we calorie counted everything. So everything that went into my body was on purpose and accounted for, and everything. And all my training was accounted for. And I went from, it got religious. Like I went in the first 6 months, I lost 20 pounds, or 6 weeks, I lost 20 pounds like that. And I was set out to lose like 15 pounds maybe. I was like, right around 203, 204. Nothing crazy, like not that bad, but certainly for getting everything out of your abilities, not good enough. And so 3 months in, I clock in going to Australia at 172 pounds, and I've lost over 30 pounds. And I'm a completely different human being. I now love to train. I now loved fitness. I loved competing, and like I turned into a fucking bulldog. Like in terms of I would do anything I could to win. If it was talk shit to the other guy, I'm gonna do it. To get him out of his comfort zone, I'm gonna do it. If I have to kick over a water bottle because like he's like he may like love his whatever that is, like just in general, like I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. And that mindset like just bled over into like my life, really, like truly, like everything got dedicated and disciplined up and professional. And I finally understood. And I didn't know where it was going to take me. I had no idea like if I was going to be a better player. A lot of people initially were like, man, you've lost so much weight. You probably won't have a ton of energy, like deep in matches and stuff like that. You're not eating as much, all that stuff. And dude, I turned into someone who like was nervous about playing in the middle of the day in the heat in Miami to requesting it and talking about it out loud to my opponents and saying, I love this shit. I love playing in this when I knew they didn't. Because a lot of like in the summer, these guys that are playing in the US Open has been pretty good. The weather's been pretty good in New York this time around, but it can get crazy hot. I'm talking like 95 degrees in crazy humidity in Cincinnati in the early August, right? And you're playing on a hard court and the sun is beating down. It's 150 on the court, and you have to figure it out and you have to beat them. And my mindset just always went to, well, let me show these guys that I love it. Even though like nobody like loved playing in that stuff, but it was like, if I talk about it in the press, if I say, yeah, I want to play at 1:00 in the afternoon against Andy Murray in Cincinnati because I know he's gonna hate that type of weather, and I'm just gonna bluff it and say that I love it, in the press, and then he's going to think that I love it, and I'm going to, whatever, and I'm going to manage it. And I was like super diligent with my training and how I manage. I never did any like excess, like even in a match, I would never like do any excess like energy boosts or anything like that. I would just try and always maintain, because the one thing about tennis too is like we have to train for a 2 out of 3 set match, or a 3 out of 5 in the case of a Grand Slam, a 3 out of 5 set match. So a 3 out of 5 set match could last an hour and a half, or it could last 5.5 hours. So like we have to train for the 5.5 hours, even though we may play, or Yannick Sinner's training for a 5-hour match like he had in the French Open final, but last night he played for an hour and 20 minutes. So it's like, guys will usually just lean towards like the hour and a half or 2.5 hour type thing. And I started training like a madman, and I started like getting multiple training partners during during the same session. I'd have like three people come through because
like
they
boxers.
were getting tired. Yeah,
like
they were like getting
sending
tired.
the fresh guy against them.
Exactly. They were getting tired. So I'd send them out. Someone else would send in. And I was so fucking fit, dude. And it was such a liberating feeling, and a self-confidence feeling that like that I haven't found since. And you do miss that, right? Like you do miss like that like feeling of being that fit or being that good, or that good at something or whatever. And that's kind of I don't watch a lot of tennis anymore, but that's the thing that you kind of miss the most, is just like being really good at something and just like getting in the fire and just like wanting to just beat the shit out of the person across, even though it's a non-contact sport.
We were talking to Rick Tocchet earlier today. We interviewed him, and he was talking about the orientation camp with Team Canada and how he was maybe taken a little bit aback by how small the guys were upper body now wise. But because hockey's not maybe as physical as it used to be, but you can't have any of these extra pounds up top because of, next year they're going to 84 games, and then you got to go through playoffs, right? So all those extra pounds can weigh you down. And I was going to go back because I was going to ask you about your relationships with like the Nadals and the Federers and stuff like that, because you're competing against them. Whereas like Andy Roddick, you lived with him, right? So you're buddies with them. Did you get to experience any times away from the court with those guys, or because you're competing against them one-on-one, you just kind of want to keep it where you almost like you kind of want to hate them because you're competing against them?
Only in practice sessions would you like interact with those guys, like truly. Like if if before a tournament, let's say the US Open, you're there the week before, get used to there's a lot of sponsor obligations and stuff, settle in New York, it's pretty hectic. That whole week you're still training, you're still, and you're trying to play with top players, and you're trying to train with guys that play like the guy that you're playing in the first round. If it's a lefty, you're trying to look for lefties. The righty, you're going to make sure you're going to hit with a righty or whatever. And so practicing with those guys, you sort of get to know them and their personalities a little better. Everyone has like their own team, right? That like at least the top guys kind of have. So I had a trainer, Christian. I had a coach. I had a wife. So I'm like already without anybody else. You obviously have an agent, a manager, whatever. But like just your little 4 group, and they bring their group, you're already at an 8 top, right? And like, I'm a like, let's keep it down to 4 is max, 6 is okay kind of thing. Like 8, and you start like, all right, it's a 2.5 hour dinner. Like, let's move this along.
No thanks.
Yeah. So like, you wouldn't really do that kind of stuff unless it was like James Blake or Andy or Roddick, whatever, where you're just real quick, you know each other so well. We're really, really lucky. We were really lucky with those 3 guys, honestly. Djokovic gets a lot of flack, I think, with just the way that he plays, is not like necessarily an aesthetically pleasing way. He's just like, he just doesn't give you anything. There's no free points. There's nothing. And he doesn't overpower you. He just sort of breaks you down, breaks your legs down, your mind down, your whatever. And then all of a sudden you're like, I can't get anything. I can't get any free points off this guy, or I can't get a serve by him, or I can't get a forehand by him, whatever. he's a really awesome dude. He's the guy that, like, Roger and Rafa were so fun. Roger, I think, will go down as in history as like maybe the most non-disliked athlete of all time. To give you an example, like
Agreed.
He's
hard to dislike him.
Everyone loves him.
He's Biz going into Montreal and getting cheered, right? You would never, that would never happen, right?
Yeah, no. A visiting player.
Who's that?
He'd be like, yeah, it'd be like
Chara
honestly,
getting cheered there.
It'd be like Derek Jeter going into Fenway Park and like 75% of the crowd like standing up and like cheering for him. Like it didn't happen. And so Roger was so well liked, and Rafa was such a sweet, humble champion where he won the French Open 14 fucking times. And so dominant that like they were great guys. They were great with the press. They were great with the fans. We were really lucky with them. Novak is that as well. The problem is he beats everyone's favorite player all the time. And so people hated him, and people hate him. And he's an awesome dude as well. He just sort of, I honestly think if he leaned into like the John McEnroe, Jimmy Connors sort of like bad guy, like if he leaned into that a little bit and just played it up for whatever, and just like, bring it on. You hate me, I hate you, bring it on type like vibe, I think he would have killed it. I mean, he's obviously killing it anyways, but like absolutely like a global superstar, whatever.
The other night he was battling with the fans at Arthur Ashe.
He's a feisty guy, right? Like he's a feisty dude. He's talking to his boss, his player box, and talking to his coach, yelling at them and this and that. And like it's so hard to, I can't tell you how hard it is to do what Roger did, or even Rafa would show some emotion. Roger would just like, if you won a point or lost the point, you wouldn't know until the final point. He'd drop down on his knees and go back on his back, and all the emotion would come out. But before then, you would have no idea if you won the point or lost the point. And Borg was like that as well. Bjorn Borg, where like, it's so hard to do that. There's so many, there's so much negative stress in tennis, because again, you lose so often. You lose half the games. Like you're supposed to hold serve and lose your return games. Like that's kind of like,
I think it's crazy how they're like talking to their coaches in the midst of the match.
I always wonder, are they yelling at them? Are they mad at them? Or are they mad at themselves?
Everyone deals with stress and negative stress differently. Okay. Like Roger dealt with it internally. Rafa like dealt with it like outwardly, but like to himself. Andy Murray and Djokovic, myself to a certain degree, like it wasn't our fault. It had to be someone else's fault. Like it was, so it was like I would try and find like one little thing where my coach would give me like, yeah, this guy really likes to pass cross court on his backhand. So when you come to the net and you hit it to his backhand, he really likes to cross. He's not saying like he's going to do it every time. He's just saying he's got a tendency like that. So then I'd come to the net, I'd hit it there, I'd cover cross, and they'd hit it line, and I'd like, what the fuck, coach? Coach, what are you doing? And you just dwell on that for a while and try to deflect. Just try to deflect. And so like, yeah, you can sit there and go, I actually like later in my career when I was winning a lot and like I didn't want that outlet. And so I actually had them move further away in the stadium, almost to where it was kind of comical, like almost to where I'd have to find them in the first place. And then when I find them, they're so far away that I couldn't interact with them anyways, and I just had to focus on the court. I always thought that like
you guys stay on the concourse. Don't even come out.
Further. Go further. Like I did that one time.
Marty, you double faulted, buddy. What did we do wrong?
Yeah, what did we do wrong? Yeah, well, you told me to toss it. So no, it was one point in Cincinnati, and I had great relationship with them off the court, right? But like on the court, it's so fucking stressful. And you're like, so one match, I was just on edge. I don't know why I woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something, and they were too close. So I was like, go far, go away. So they literally went to the last row in the stadium, and I saw where they were. And so now they're too far. Now come back, get back down here. So it's just all while you're trying to beat someone who's like trained their entire life to play tennis. Yeah. Firing balls. So it's not a healthy game. Don't put your kids in it. But mentally it's not a very healthy game. But it's a very healthy game physically.
I was just gonna go back to you. You said that you would start the shit talking when you got such in good shape. You'd be like, I fucking love this. Did you ever do like shit talk maybe a little too much where it brought it off the court, where you guys were back in the locker rooms and the guy wanted to wring your neck out? Like,
luckily, most of the guys are pretty soft. Most of them are.
Like golf in a sense, right?
Yeah, like there were a couple times where like I had a guy's dad come in and tell, and not like get in my face necessarily, but just kind of like, because I was like way overboard, like way over, like I motherfucked this guy because he was beating me and I ended up beating him. And I went back in the locker room like, oh shit, I got to deal with this, or whatever. And I would, and either they would say, I promise you, if I lost the match, I was the one that was like chirping, and they would sort of like run away. There's been a couple times, one instance I played the final of San Jose, which is a tournament in California they don't have anymore. It was actually at the HP Center, or HP, where the Sharks play, where Pavs played. And I played a final. There's a guy named Radek Stepanek, who I'm actually like friends with now, like no problem. He was such a dick on the court. He was like so good at it too. Like it was part of his shtick. He was a really good tennis player and he was a really big dick, like on the court as well. And he was just good at it. And he beat me and I was so pissed. And I walked, I'll never forget this. I walked up to the net and I put my hand out and I said, great match. I'll see you in the locker room. Just like that. And you do trophy presentation. Congratulations to Radek. Congratulations, blah, blah, blah. And you do it. And then immediately, like, I go and I wait in the locker room and like, he's not there. And I'm waiting. And then I'm like, maybe he's impressed. I have to play the doubles final, like 30 minutes after my singles final. Cause I was in the doubles final as well. And so I had to I couldn't go find him and I had to go play doubles. And then when I was done with the doubles, he was gone. And then a week goes by and you just sort of forget it and you just move on. And like, there's plenty of times on the court though, Biz, where you're like, I mean, these guys are so soft, dude. And they're just like, I remember one guy I just got off my honeymoon. I hadn't played or practiced. All I was doing was drinking margaritas in Mexico, with my new wife. And I had to go to a tournament in Madrid, in indoor tournament. And it was this French guy that I was playing and he was just being a little bitch and he was complaining so much. And he was complaining to the umpire that I was taking too long in between points because I was so fucking tired because I hadn't trained because I was on the beach in Mexico. And so I finally went up to the match. I was like, dude, you're such a I'm beating you. I haven't even practiced. I'm tired as hell and I'm still beating you. You suck. Those kinds of things. So, and then you'd think that that would pull over into the locker room because we all share a locker room. Everyone shares a locker room. So, it never really did. It never really did. And then later in post career, I've gotten now for about 10 years, I've gotten into mixed martial arts. I compete in jiu-jitsu and I train Muay Thai. I have to do tournaments in jiu-jitsu and stuff where I do like 5 or 6 tournaments a year. And I love it. And now I would love for that to happen. Now I'd die to do it now. But I do it every day. I fight for fun now. So now it would be way more fun. But
they're like, Marty Fish has Federer in an arm bar at center court.
I played Andre Agassi in 2004 and we had a little misunderstanding that we've talked about since. And Andre's one of my favorite people in the world. And he's kind of the OG. Everyone wanted Andre Agassi. He's your guy. Agassi. He was just so cool. And the way he played and his style and he was just a fucking badass. And we talked about it recently because he's coming out with his documentary, which I can't wait for. Full access documentary.
He did a book.
His book was incredible.
Right? His book was incredible. One of the best biography books.
Did it talk about how during some of his win streaks that he was on hard drugs? Is that?
Well, I think the thing that got the most attention, honestly, was the fact that his hair was a wig.
Yeah, that I was like,
his
what?
long hair was a wig. No one had any idea, and that came out. So there's gonna be his documentary is gonna be amazing. And they're filming it. And so while they were filming it, we talked about this sort of thing, and he mentioned that like we kind of got into it. It was like a misunderstanding where like I looked across the net and I thought my ball was out, and I was looking at my coach. Instead, all he saw was I was looking at him and like fist pumping, like, and he felt like it was in his face. And so and then he told me this is like this year. He told me this when we finally talked about the story. He was like, "Oh no! I was going into the locker room to look for you to fight you," and I was like, "Oh man!" And now I would have been like, "Oh, that would have been amazing on."
Yeah, that
I
would
would
be a
have
feather in
loved
your
for you to
cap,
do that.
eh?
And he goes, and then he stops and goes, "Wait a minute, you didn't know jujitsu back then, did you?" And I was like, "No, you would have been fine. You would have been fine." So
You said,
yeah,
you said you played golf with Corey Perry today, an incredible dick on the ice. But how, like, hockey's, you could spear guys and all that. Like, how this guy you said was the biggest dick, like, how are you a dick playing tennis? You know what I mean? Like, what can drive you nuts playing against somebody?
fist pumping or like outwardly, like, come on, when you like double fault or make like an error, like an easy error.
When your opponent does, you're saying?
Yeah, like let's say I'm playing Biz and Biz misses an easy ball, and then I'm like, yes, come on, like right in his face. Like that's pretty dick. He would do a lot of that. He would do like right when you're about to serve, he'd throw his hand up and go back and like get his towel and then go back again. He was just like, he was very good. I mean, dude, he was good at it too. And it was well within the rules, for the most part for him, for him to do. So yeah, it's like, yeah, you can like, I mean, you can wait to, I gave one guy a shoulder bump in Indian Wells, like walking by the changeover because he was acting like an idiot. So, yeah, you can do all that, all kinds of stuff.
That's fucking crazy. We need more of that in tennis. They had the one guy he was an Australian. He's not playing right now.
Nick Kyrgios. He's Australian. He's an Aussie. Yeah.
He is.
Nick jumped into the fire. Like there's an American kid named Ben Shelton right now who's a phenomenal tennis player. Every time I watch him play, I like him more and more. He's feisty. He talks shit. He's in your face. Like I love it. I just love it because you get one chance at a career and you get one chance at this one match and like do everything you can to win. Do it all. And some guys don't. Some guys are so easily so easily to be able to be pushed around. And the ones that I kind of gravitate nowadays to the ones who aren't, and the ones who like that and who jump into that and aren't afraid of, to play Novak in the US Open night match and take it to him. As opposed to, oh my gosh, it's so great to be on the court with you. You're such a great, whatever. And you can do that post match. Like, dude, I had no problem. Just like, that's why I love, one of the reasons why I love like the hockey lines at the end of series, just because like you beat the shit out of each other and then let's shake hands and wash it, or fight, or like you got to fight and get it over with and then it's over and then you move on. And it's just, I just love, there's so many aspects of hockey that like I internally have or use or whatever, playing in a, super soft individual sport, non-contact.
Yeah. It's so entertaining though, like the majors specifically. But I do want to ask about, a big part of the documentary is kind of like the anxiety, and I don't want to call it depression. You could kind of explain what you went through, where it led you to actually not even play in the round of 16, I think it was, at the US Open, and it's a wild story. Like the fact you were going through that and competing at that high of a level, it just shows how skilled you were. But can you kind of tell us that story, how it all began, and basically how you're doing now with all the same type things, right? I mean, it's got to not immediately go away with retirement.
And like, when did it start? How did it fester? And I believe it was against Federer that you didn't go out and play, correct? It was a match?
Yep. So 2012, 2011 was my best year. 2012, like I remember I finished the year 2011 on Thanksgiving. We played the World Tour Finals was at the O2 in London, so not a Thanksgiving holiday over there. But so I played Roger in my last match there on Thanksgiving. Went home. That was a Thursday. Obviously, went home the next day. Started training again Monday for the next year. So like I had already. What I wish I could have done, and what I wish a lot of like athletes do, is not be satisfied with your results, but be open to celebrating good, right? Like just like be okay with taking an extra day or two to appreciate what you had just done that year. I wish I had taken that whole week off and started the next Monday, or even 2 weeks after that. Jim Courier was one of the all-time like animal fitness guys. He after every year he put his rackets down for 2 weeks, didn't touch anything, didn't do anything for 2 straight weeks. And he was like the sort of the ultimate like fitness guy or whatever. He changed the game, literally changed the game. So I started training like right away. I had something called tachycardia, which is a electrical issue in your heart that sort of manifests through stress, caffeine, alcohol, like stuff like that. If you have this sort of issue, it's not a life or death thing. It's sort of like AFib for some people that have heard of that, atrial fibrillation, sort of where your heart, the electricity in your heart is like the quarterback, and when it fires, it tells your heart to beat. So like fire up, fire up. Some of them, and there's thousands of them, some of them can fire uncontrollably and like malfunction. And so they just fire like uncontrollably. And so your heart doesn't know but to beat, because it's like, oh, it's firing, so I should beat. And so your heart is beating. I trained with a heart rate monitor on whenever I would practice, because I wanted to know, in tennis, we only get 25 seconds between each point. How could I get my heart rate as high as I could possibly get it to? And then I have 25 seconds to do these breathing techniques and all this stuff. So I'd train like crazy. I'd stop for 25 seconds. I'd do these breathing, and then I'd start again. And I'd do it over and over and over again. I couldn't get my heart rate above 192 beats per minute on my own. When these episodes would happen, they would come out of nowhere, usually at night. Honestly, I would wake up in the middle of the night, my heart was beating, and it was beating at like 220, 230 beats. And which is like, I mean, like I felt like my, because I didn't know anything about the heart, anything really about that area. And like, I thought, could it explode? Does it blow up? Whatever. And so your mind starts racing. You go into a panic attack as well, and those are brutal. So I developed this tachycardia. I had a heart procedure called an ablation, where they go through your groin, the main vein, and they go up and they basically recreate the tachycardia and kill the bad ones. The dead one, and just deaden them. They either freeze them or singe them off with heat. Very successful. Like there's probably an 80% success rate with guys. I've known a few people that have had to do it twice, but for the most part, you get it done, and it never happens again. I had that happen. I got it done. It never happened since then. This was during like May. I'm still like the number 1 American. And that was a big thing because Andy Roddick was number 1 American in our generation for a long time. And it was my first time sort of overtaking him, getting into the top 10 in the world the year prior. So I was still like in the top 10, top 8 in the world or whatever, still the number 1 top American in the world. And I had to pull out of the French Open to do that, which was fine. I was not very good on clay, and start to grass. Grass was my best surface. I'd go over there, and I went over to Wimbledon, and my father had like an issue where he had to have a pacemaker put in. I was like, Dad, have you had any of these like sort of where you think it's going to happen again, or like I didn't even know what the thoughts were. They were just because you don't know
like
anything about. Yeah, you're just like you're always like on edge that something bad is going to happen, right? Anxiety, like my mind was way down here and not present, right? Like depression is you're thinking about like the past and the current or whatever, and anxiety is sort of like your mind is 3 days away and your body's like right here. It's like you got to maintain, you got to stay right here. That's, what the kind of the feeling of anxiety. I didn't know what the thoughts were, but they were just they kept coming ever so slightly, a little bit more at Wimbledon. I'd ask my dad, like, when you had that heart attack, like, and you had the thing put in, like, have you ever thought like it may come back or whatever? No, I feel good, whatever. I was like, okay, no problem. And I'd ask another guy who had an ablation that I knew of. It was around the tennis world, and same exact question. No, I've never had that, kind of thing, and little by little, these weeks will go by and we're playing Wimbledon and I'm having success in these tournaments. In the fourth round of Wimbledon, made the quarters in Canada and Toronto. I made the quarters of Cincinnati, lost to Roger. And like, I'm beating all the players I should be, and I'm losing the players that like are really good players. Until it got to a point where, and I was totally fine on the court. I had enough things to think about on the court. That was my only safe haven, was like, I don't have any of these thoughts on the tennis court. So once I get on the tennis court, I'm good. Like this is my happy place. I'm good. I played a third round match at the US Open, against a French guy named Gilles Simon, who's a really tough, like annoying player to play. He's super fast. Everything comes back. He gets everything back. And I got in, that was like the fourth set, and I got there, it was like 4-2 in the fourth or 3-2 serving in the fourth. And I look at the clock in the corner, and it said like 12:45 a.m. It was a late match. We were on Arthur Ashe. It was that one of those night matches like they had last night with Sinner on there. And I like my mind started spiraling, like, oh no, like now I'm gonna, even if I win this set, I'm not going to get home until I got to do press. I got to do stretch down. I got ice, blah, 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 all this stuff. And all of a sudden all of a sudden on the court was gone. Like that little safe haven was now,
that was the
intruded.
First time that it had hit while playing too.
First time ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Now you're in one.
Now I'm like, holy shit, how do I get through this? Don't remember. And we remember a lot of like, Matt, I don't know if you guys remember like games and like specific parts of games or whatever. I remember a lot of like in the middle of matches and like things that happened and stuff like that. I don't remember anything. I have no idea. I ended up winning the next 3 games, winning the match, and a buddy of mine was doing the commentary, and he was like, and I kept saying to him like, please hurry, just please hurry. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's 1 a.m. Like I guess I get it, but like, what are you talking about? No one's ever said like, please hurry. I'm like begging him, like, please hurry. Because the only thing that I know will make me feel better in the moment is if I get off the court, run into like the doctor's area, and they put me on an EKG. Once they put me on an EKG unit, I knew that my heart was beating normal, and then I could calm down. And the doctors, again, it's 1:30 in the morning. It keeps getting later every time I tell the story. It's 2:45 in the morning. And the doc, everyone wants to leave, right? It's like super late and they're all done. It's the last match. And I'm like, please, can you go back? These 2 doctors. And thankfully they went back. They put me on the EKG thing. I actually still have the little readout because it was like something that like, I had like a friend there, Sergio Garcia, who's like one of my best friends. He's a golfer. He was there like just in my bot. He's like down there in the doctor's office with me. My wife, trainer, coach, whatever. They don't know what's going on. They have no idea like really what's going on because I haven't talked about it a ton because no one talks about it. Like no one, like first of all, I didn't really understand what was happening. What are these thoughts? What is anxiety? I'm like Googling what is anxiety. Honest to God, Googling it like, weeks prior or days prior, whatever, just how do you beat anxiety? On the YouTube back then was like, there's nothing on there. And so I finally get back. I don't even go to the course. You go to the course, you go to the site. Every Grand Slam, you get a day in between if there's no rain or whatever, no delays. You play, then you get a day off, you play, day off. So that was my day off. Usually on the day off, you'll go out, you do some press, you'll do a 30-minute hit, light hit, whatever, just to get a sweat, and you'll go back to the hotel, relax, and get ready for the match. I didn't even go. I'd stayed in the hotel, and I was talking to like psychiatrists and Googling all kinds of stuff and like trying to get, and I couldn't get to, like, in my mind, I couldn't figure out how I was going to play this match because the court was taken away from me. Like during the match was like taken away from me, like stress wise, anxious wise, whatever. And it was like debilitating. It wasn't like, oh, you're soft, like suck it up. Like my son's 11, he's going to a retreat that he didn't want to go to. It's like really important that I'm a dad, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna be fine. You got to do this. It's for school, whatever. Push through it. The other, like it was debilitating. Like all I wanted to do was just curl up in a ball. I had an anxiety attack every 15 minutes of every day, kind of thing. And so I'm sitting, so the match comes, I'm playing Roger Federer on Labor Day weekend on Arthur Ashe Stadium on CBS, with like a absolute packed house, the greatest player ever. This is the match that I had sacrificed and trained so hard to get to, that I wanted to be in, that now I couldn't play in. And we've as athletes, I think it was a blessing to have like my wife in the car with me, a non-athlete and a non like sort of understanding our mindsets, or an athlete's mindset of like just never quit, never give up, never show fear, never show weakness kind of thing. We got in the car and I'm like crying. I can't, like, I don't know what's going on. All I want to do is go home. I want to get help. I want to know what this is. But I have to play. I got to play, and I got to play in front of all millions of people, on TV, and thousands of people there in this match that I would have begged to play in 2 years prior. Would have done anything to be in the round of 16, deep into a Grand Slam, our home Grand Slam. My wife says, you don't have to play. And I was like, I never thought of it. I never thought of it like that. Like you just don't have to take the court. And this like right away, this like weight like lifted off my shoulders. And I was like, oh wow, you're right. I have actually had injuries before where like I couldn't take the court. I had a, ankle injury or whatever. I had to pull out of the tournament or whatever match. It never would have crossed my mind. I have no idea if she wasn't in the car and said that. I never would have pulled out of the match. I never would have understood that mindset, that thought of like, it's not about like quitting. It was about like
something's wrong.
Understanding my own, like understanding like what is this? What is going on to you? It was no longer like hey dude, you got to get out there. You got to put yourself in that fire, and because this is going to be good for you in the future. And like, I'm your parent, and this, like be tough, that kind of thing. It wasn't that type of moment. And so I went to the courts and I told my coach, who had no idea. And I said, I'm not going to play. I can't play. And the reason that we gave, I believe, was a knee injury, like to ESPN or CBS or whatever it was at the time. They're waiting outside. I didn't want outside the locker room. I didn't want to do press. I got out of the locker room, and they're waiting there. And I just like bolt by, go straight to the airport because all I want to do is get home. I get on the plane. They close the door. I hear the door close, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get off this plane. Like, and now another one. And I'm like, oh my God. And so thank God, again, my wife was there, because if she wasn't there, I'm not the type of person that would like cause a commotion or anything like that. She jumps up, medical emergency, got to get off the plane, like something like that. She was just like right away, took like full credit. Like she just like went after, and like, sir, your bags are going to be, I don't care about my bag. Just get me off the plane. Ended up staying like 3 days in around this New York City because I couldn't get on a plane. I couldn't get up from the couch to do anything. And it was debilitating. It wasn't like, suck it up, dude, you can do this. It was like, I don't want to leave the couch. And if I do leave the couch, I might harm myself. I don't know what these thoughts are. Right. And so when I like ultimately living back, got the help I needed, et cetera, spent years, a couple years, leaned into golf in 2014 because I wasn't playing, and played some mini tour events and stuff like that because I was a good junior golfer way back when. And that sort of took my mind away from the fact that like I was still the number one American at the time, and like still had like not played very often, very much. And people are, what is he doing? Where is he? My parents, even my mom is like, are you going to play again? What am I supposed to tell my friend? You know, that kind of, so there's a lot of like stuff that you're still dealing with. It's not just like you can just stop playing and no one will say anything. And the reason why, like, fast forward a bunch of years and a bunch of, sort of therapy and understanding each sort of episode of when you get an anxiety attack or when you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed or whatever, and learning from each of those and cutting out the things that would maybe be triggers for those, for that type of stuff. I wanted, because I was going through it, I was, again, an athlete and a sports guy and only watched sports and I wasn't interested in finance or politics or whatever. It was just sports. And so I didn't have one athlete to lean on where it was like, oh, wow, that guy had depression and he broke through it and he was back and he's competing again or whatever. And I wanted to share my story because I had gotten comfortable with how I felt, and understood what I was dealing with and understood that it wasn't just a Band-Aid sort of thing. And it's a lifelong sort of process that you just sort of deal with, and figure out and handle, with tools and techniques. I wanted to share that. I wanted to be a success story for someone in my shoes at whatever level you were playing, whether you're a junior, and you're in high school, or there's lots of kids who are, I want to be a professional athlete and I want to play in the NBA, or I want to go to college, or I want to play, I want to play hockey in college or whatever. And they also have to go through school and they have to go through the stresses of, growing up as a kid, growing up and maturing and all that stuff. And I just wanted to be a success story. I wanted to educate people that thought, that sounds pretty soft, dude. Why don't you just take the court? Like, and it wasn't like that. There were, ultimately over the years, there have been tons of athletes now that have come out. If you speak about on the female side, Naomi Osaka is someone who's playing. I think she's playing tonight.
She's dealt with a lot, right? Same thing.
Yeah, she's like dealt with a lot of stuff, and she didn't want to do press one time in the French Open, and then she ended up pulling out of the tournament. She didn't want to be a bother to the tournament or whatever, and like people thinking that she would just pull out because she didn't want to do press, or like Simone Biles. I don't know Simone at all. I'm lucky to be friends with Naomi. She's a sweetheart. I don't know Simone at all, and she not competing in the Olympics was a huge deal for like the 50-year-old white guy, like going like, yeah,
who haven't done fuck all.
So tough. Yeah, exactly. Who's just like never stepped foot in the arena before and never understood it, but has an opinion. I was always thinking about that person where I'm like, okay, maybe we can get someone that's like played like a physical game to come out with something like this. And then Tyson Fury comes out. And then Max Crosby comes out, who's like, defensive. Max Crosby's defensive end for the Las Vegas Raiders, just a monster, dude, like a badass.
I think he just signed one of the biggest contract, if not the biggest contract for his position.
Awesome, just intimidating looking. He's physical, he's strong, he's whatever. He's the opposite of soft. Tyson Fury was the heavyweight champion of the world that dealt with depression. Michael Phelps has been super open, and we've been really close about checking in with each other all the time. Just, how are you doing, dude? How are you doing? That kind of thing. And Kevin Love has been open about his stuff, and it sort of opened the floodgates for the kind of the male sports figure as well to go, yeah, dude, mental health is like a real thing. It doesn't care what you do for a living. It doesn't care what your last name is or how good you are at something. It can, if you don't take care of it, it can take you out or take you down, or worse, not want to be around anymore. And Robin Williams had that really famous quote where it's like, be kind, it's like everybody's dealing with something, be kind. And everyone is dealing. And it's like one of those things that it says mental and it's in your mind and whatever, but it's your brain's part of your body. It's a chemical imbalance. Serotonin just empties in your brain, and you don't, and you can't, you don't think straight. You don't have the right chemical balance in your system to deal with, the stresses and rigors of life or whatever. And I wanted to be that sort of story that guys can lean on, guys and gals, girls, boys, young, old, parents, whatever, to show them this Netflix documentary and say, here's someone who was open about it, who was not shy in or not uncomfortable talking about how they felt, even though it may, to some it may sound soft, and give them a blueprint of how to beat it, or how I beat it, and how you can maybe learn from some of the skills that I learned to do it. And it was the success story and the education of it, because again, like, I didn't know what was going on in 2012 when I was doing it. And now if you do go through it, I feel like you would know what's going on because people have talked about it, and you do have now tons of success stories to lean on. And when Netflix came, it was like, okay, I need whoever's going to tell this story, I need to make sure they know something about tennis, because tennis is a hard game, and I need that to come across as like, it's a tough game to play. I also need someone who's directing this to understand mental health. It really matters to like have had an issue possibly with mental health, and understanding that sort of thing. And the Way brothers, Mac and Chap Way, who've had a couple different documentaries that they've won Emmys for or been nominated for Emmys and stuff, did a phenomenal job of bringing that, of bringing it to light, how I felt, asking the right questions in the interviews and stuff like that. To be honest, I've never watched it. I haven't seen the thing. I've started it like 12 times in like first 2 minutes. I hear my own voice. I hear the sound of my own voice sounds like nails on chalkboard. I can't listen to that. And then it's like a really hard time in my life to relive. And I haven't been able to like click play on it and watch it. So I haven't actually never seen it. But everyone that watches it, it seems like, the response is, something to the effect of like, thank you, or like, thank you for like bringing this important thing to the masses, or to a big, a big place like Netflix, right? Because that was another big part of it, was like, man, Netflix in 2019 was the biggest streamer, and really one of the only streamers that there was out there. And so everything that we watched was on Netflix. Everybody had a Netflix thing. So it's like, okay, Netflix is a big sort of program or channel to have it on. So this is a perfect way to sort of fully encapsulate the story. And I think it helped a lot of people. And I set out to help one person, right? Like 1, 2, 3 people. And that first day that it came out, and on my direct messages on my Twitter were just kept going and kept going. And it was an overwhelming response in a positive way. And I hope it helped people.
It's an incredible story. Like, I appreciate you telling it, because there's so much more that you just mentioned that you don't get on the documentary, which was phenomenally well done. I gotta ask you another question. I gotta do a quick little ad. Roback. I don't know if you ever wear any Roback, but it's phenomenal. Roback's last question. Use the code Chiclets at roback.com for 20% off your first purchase through the end of the week. That's CHICLETS on RHOBACK.com. Code Chiclets. So, little bit change of topic, but old school hockey. The game has changed so much. You talk fitness, everything, every sport changes in a similar way, but we had guys back in the day ripping it up at night. Then they're playing guilty. Like in tennis, where there's stories of old legends that would be like party animals and still playing, or has it always been different because it's an individual sport?
I think there were some, like back in like the 80s, like Vitas Gerulaitis was a really popular player. He's like best friends with John McEnroe. Yeah, Vitas Gerulaitis. He's an American guy. And he was a really good player, and it was like he was like really close with John McEnroe, and those guys had some like, almost like, hey, we're gonna drink and do the exact same stuff, and then see who wins, that kind of thing. So yes, like fitness wasn't a huge part of tennis until Jim Courier came around in the early '90s, and like just like became this guy that could play forever, could play on clay, was a bulldog, that whole thing. Before that, it was like a party sport. It was like you get to travel around the world, and the points, points were pretty quick. The grass courts weren't very good grass courts, and so they'd bounce all weird ways. You'd come to the net, you'd hit one serve, one volley, and the point's over, and you go on. There used to be a German guy who would like smoke cigarettes on the changeover.
Okay,
that was interesting. Yeah. He smoked cigarettes in, like we're playing like in Florida in like July, and he's like smoking heaters on the side on the changeovers. So yeah, there was a good story. Honestly, Agassi, and I'm sure he'll come out. Andre will come out with it a little bit in his documentary. But the final, the night before he played the final of the French Open, Brad Gilbert tells his story where he was like down drinking or whatever the night before the final in 1999, and they had to like get his trainer to come down and like pull him off of like the piano bar or whatever, to go to bed so he could play the final the next day. And if you watch that final, it makes perfect sense because he lost the first two sets badly. They had a rain delay, and he got like an hour and a half or 2 hours in the rain delay. He took a nap and all that stuff, came back and won in 3 sets.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes, he won the French Open and completed the Grand Slam. Like otherwise he hadn't won the French Open. So he's like I don't know if he was so nervous or whatever of not playing, or of maybe winning the Grand Slam and completing the Grand Slam. He did that and ended up winning. And then
that's what I was saying.
Steffi,
Tommy Fleetwood should have done, because he always kept. I was like, he's got to go for a few Guinness the night before that FedEx final.
And maybe he did. Yeah. And then Andre, Steffi Graf won the women's that year, and that was the year they met. And now they have 3 kids or 2 kids and live together now for a long time. So. Yeah.
Are tennis parents a nightmare? Like at the young age, you see some lunatic. You must see lunatics.
I've been incredibly lucky with my parents. My father loved tennis and sort of pushed me towards tennis, maybe a little more than I wanted to, but I mean, in a good way. There's some, 12 and under kids would the cheating and stuff on the court. They would call balls in and out, just crazy. But then their parents, if they lost, they would throw them in like a hot bath or something like that, like scalding hot water, because they'd let them know that they're not allowed to lose to that kid or whatever. Yeah,
Jesus.
Tennis parents. I will put tennis parents up with any parents of any sport in the crazy category.
Mardy, we can't thank you enough for coming on and talking about all this. It's an unreal message. And I guess my last one quickly would just be like, are you at peace about all that now because you were able to release that documentary and, I guess I get it off your chest and maybe not feel bad about not being able to compete in that moment?
I don't think about that part of it. Because there's a couple things where it's like, there were some people that were in my life at the time, that still are, but they were in my life at the time that like truly saved my life. Like, I don't think if my wife was there, my father, my parents, obviously, very close with my dad. Like if they, like my trainer, if Christian, like if they weren't around and if it was just me, like, I don't know, I think I'd be in a ditch somewhere. Like I don't think I would be able to handle it for very much longer. They were such a great support system. One of, if not the most important thing in mental health is a support system. If you have a support system and you're open and honest with them and vulnerable with loved ones or people that you love or people that care about you, that's all that you need. And then obviously therapy, finding the right psychiatrist, even medication if you want that or like that, you can go that route or not. I did, but yeah, it's like I want to do more, Biz. There aren't a ton of people still that are like outwardly talking about mental health and going around, and like I love doing speaking stuff for it. I love telling my story because it resonates with people understand it, and people are like, I feel that sometimes too. And I'd be surprised if everyone isn't dealing with something that they're holding in or that they don't want to talk about or whatever. So I'd like, my one message would be like, just be vulnerable, like be open with people that you love and people that love you, because they'll do anything for you. And that's why you try and like remove the people that don't, like, I know everybody wants to have like tons of friends and stuff like that, but it's like the true ones are the ones that you can be vulnerable with and open and honest with. And that's the most important thing in mental health.
Buddy.
Very well said, man. Yeah. I appreciate you coming on, telling the story. The documentary came out incredible. Anyone, check it out if you haven't seen it. I think it's from 3-4 years ago, but Untold.
Yeah, it's that Untold. Point. Yeah, the Untold series. They had a lot of cool stuff in that as well. And ours, was one of the first ones out of there. And Netflix did a great job. I'm super thankful to them they still have it on there.
Mardy, awesome. You're the man, buddy. Thank you so much, and hopefully we can get on the golf course sometime.
Yes, let's go, Biz. I'm coming to Scottsdale in December, so
you need to help Biz. His backswing, it goes to his knee. So,
yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, he's a tight guy.
The other way, like way back?
No.
Oh, it's like
makes John Rahm look like John Daly.
It's like to here. Oh yeah. Okay, I get that.
That's a good comparison, Whit. That's a good.
Yeah.
And Whit says he could beat me in tennis, so I might need a few lessons in that so I go mop the floor with him.
Yeah, maybe we need to film tennis.
That. We need
some
to film
pickleball, something like that,
Oh, I love it.
Get out there.
Marty.
All right, boys. Yeah,
Thanks,
I really
Marty.
appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much to Mardy Fish. Great guy. Very happy to hear he's kind of doing better now. I mean, jiu-jitsu master, like, didn't see that one coming. I would like to say I maybe would do that someday, but there's zero chance I will. Speaking of jiu-jitsu, shout out Sean Avery. His book is out. G, can you put up the copy that he sent you? He sent it to me. He's all over me. He's like, have you finished the book? I'm like, I've been reading the book. I fall asleep when I read at night. I have no chance to read during the day. Keith, who barely can read, I think it's like 80 pages in.
71, yep.
It's pretty fucking good. I'm not going to lie. So Avery, I know the jiu-jitsu master, also the author. And go get that book. G, put it up.
Summer Skate. It's called Summer Skate. He wrote it with Leslie Cohen. It's a hit. It's
Summer
gonna be
Skate.
a movie in no
Summer
time.
Skate. Yeah, I think the women will like it. It's it's got some stuff in there. It's got some.
It's like a smut.
Yeah, a little some smut in there about a Rangers player living in the Hamptons, meeting some women. So Avery, great job with that one. I wanna shout out kind of a sad note, finding out that Ken Dryden passed away, an all-time legend in the game of hockey. Was out of the game pretty quick, like didn't have a super long career. He talk about a well-rounded person. Like this guy, I never knew that he was originally drafted by the Bruins and then was traded to the Canadiens, or his rights were traded to the Canadiens. He never found that out. He was told by his agent he was drafted by the Canadiens. Never even knew he was drafted by the Bruins till the mid-70s. That's according to Wikipedia. I was like reading up on him and I'd known about Ken Dryden, but Cornell Big Redmer dominated there. You knew that.
Yeah, I remember my father and my uncle would go to the RPI games and always talked about him. I found his record. It was 76, 4-1 in 3 years at Cornell.
What?
Only won championship 1967, which is surprising. He didn't win all three.
76 and 4?
One of the most iconic photos in NHL history, how he used to sit on his stick too, like how he would do that. And he came in as a rookie and won right away, right? Like right out of college or something?
Yeah, I think he did the same. Patrick Waugh did the same as him.
Yes.
They both came as their not even rookie years. They win the cup, and then the next year, I think they were rookies of the year.
Yeah.
Which is just insane.
Yeah,
wow.
he was I think Dryden, did Patrick Waugh get rookie of the year too? I thought he was the only person to ever win the Conn Smythe and then rookie of the year the following season. I mean,
maybe Patrick didn't then. But I just know they won the cup when they weren't even really on the team the whole year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, March 14th, 1971 against the Penguins in Pittsburgh, came in 1. then was in the minors for a bit, called back up, named the starter, won the Conn Smythe. Then he won another cup in 73, 76, 77, 78, 79. So we got 4 in a row in that stretch, 6 overall. I mean, he also was a part of the Summit Series, the 1972 Summit Series, then later wrote a book on that. He wrote some other books too that I remember one of them, The Game, I believe it was called. Yes, The Game in 1983. He wrote another one, Home Game, Hockey and Life in Canada in 1990, written with Roy McGregor. But he also, the other thing I forgot is he was on the call of the 1980 Miracle on Ice. He was doing the color with Al Michaels.
Really?
And, I mean, he'd won a Stanley Cup the year prior. And when you listen to that broadcast, he's so well-spoken. Like, you would never guess this guy just played in the NHL for 10 years, won 6 Stanley Cups. It sounded like just a legendary person. I believe G got into politics at one point.
Yeah, it's actually pretty crazy. So after this is AI, of course, because that's where I get all my facts. But after an acclaimed career as an NHL goaltender and tenure of president of the Toronto Maple Leafs, he entered into politics where he ran for the Liberal Party of Canada in Toronto, riding of the York Centre in the 2004 federal election, and he won handedly. He remained in politics until 2013. Which is a long time for him to be in politics.
Probably got out at the right time, too, I'd say.
Yes.
Seemed like it was somewhat normal until around
Let
then.
Rob Ford handle it from here.
I mean, it's just so crazy to go from being a Hall of Fame goaltender to then being the Minister of Social Development from 2004. Like, that's insane.
Jesse
that's insane
Ventura.
that he did that.
He wrote also his 5th book, In School, Our Kids, Our Teachers, Our Classrooms, 1995, all about, I think, Canada's educational system. Just talk about being well-rounded, like I mentioned before. Oh, actually, Keith, and here is the picture of this. There's a statue of him with that pose you're talking about.
Sick.
Just leaning on his stick. That's in St. Laurent, Quebec. Is that Montreal? St. Laurent? St. Laurent. Biz would say that with a cool accent. So, thoughts and prayers to Ken Dryden's family. Died of cancer at the age of 78. Fucking brutal, but what an amazing person he was. And I think most people say one of the best goalies of all time. Number 29, retired by the franchise in 2007. Hockey Hall of Fame in 83. One of the 100 greatest hockey players in 1998. Ontario Sports Hall of Fame. Order of Hockey in Canada. Honorary doctoral degrees from several universities, including British Columbia, York, University of Windsor, University of Ottawa, Ryerson University, McGill University, University of Winnipeg. And I'm guessing if it was still in business, probably where Biz went to school. What's the name of that place? He always
Davenport.
Davenport U, yeah.
Yeah, it goes Harvard, Davenport, Cornell is the rankings, I think.
You're right. So,
but speaking of those, Ken Dryden, he does have an award named after him. The best league. You know what the best league in college hockey is, G, right?
Of course.
The ECAC.
ECAC.
The best goalie award every year is the Ken Dryden Award. There's a little.
Wait, how come he only played 10 years? Not that 10 years isn't a lot.
I think, I'm pretty sure with all, he was so smart and so into other things that he was like, I'm done. I have other passions in life. This is me kind of guessing, but also it's educating guess. Holy fuck wit. I'm not going to be writing any books, guys, or getting into politics or doing anything with doctoral degrees. But I think maybe I won 6 cups. I've done everything. I'm already a Hall of Famer. I'm going to move on to all these other things he did. Writing. Jesus.
I think the craziest Ken Dryden stat is in 2021, 2022, the Canadians lost 60 games. In Ken Dryden's entire career, he only lost 57 games.
He lost 57 games in regulation in his career.
What?
And the Bruins
Think about
had him.
that.
The Bruins had him.
Bruins.
All right, guys. With that, we're getting ready for camp. We're getting ready
I need
for
to
everything.
quit a little shout out to a big super fan for the Panthers passed away, Steve Alario. I don't know if you guys ever remember going to a game and they show him every game after a goal because he looks like Ric Flair and everybody does the woo.
I saw a tweet about this.
He passed away. So, I mean, you know how it is in smaller market teams. We used to see him at lunch all the time. He came to all the events and stuff. Just an unbelievable guy. So I just wanted to give him and his family a quick shout out and just a true fan, always stuck by the team even when we were dog shit. So glad he got to see a couple cups and live a great life. He was a super, super nice man. So if anyone in his family's listening, we're thinking of you guys.
No doubt. Merles, I know it's late. I can't wait to have you back on East Coast time, buddy, and not far at all from Boston. Come down.
I can't wait. I just got my train tonight. I've had my flight for a couple weeks, but I'm excited to get to Boston. It's coming up. It's next week. I'm trying to get in shape. I'm out here running. On my team, I got moved up to roller C.
Oh,
because we won roller D last year, so we got moved up to roller C. We just had a guy pull out on us, so we're in negotiations with Army. We might grab Army to our team, so look out for the Upstate Stars in roller C. I've been trying to talk to the commissioner of the event. You think he would have some pull. I'm like, can you make sure Upstate Stars don't play when the Stranglers play the Big Deal Selects? No, Merles, can't control that stuff. I'm like,
dude, the guys running the tournament.
1,000%. You're going to be playing in front of
the
one
guy
fan.
running the whole tournament.
You're going to be playing in front of one girl that's there watching her husband in roller C, and there's going to be 1,500 people packed around the boards of the Stranglers versus the Big Deal Select. So that's Merles' luck right there. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back to you next week. And I'm still going to say, any day now, you could see Connor McDavid signs 2-year extension with Edmonton Oilers. I'm still keeping that hope alive. But we'll see what the next few weeks bring and the madness that will ensue for that team if training camp starts or the regular season starts and he's not signed. So
expect a call from my dad, Wid. I want to raise, so he's gonna give you a shout here in the next couple of days,
or
you'll see it on a podcast.
Yeah,
or you're going.
He's got friends at Game Notes too.
Shout out all you guys listening. Love you guys. Merles,
Let's go,
again.
Buffalo.
Peace.